Singing this song, I see I was wrong to chain you down. I was the clown. I'm singing this song, I see I was wrong to chain you down. I was the clown. I know now what you're all about. I've had the chance to run out. I pray for the touch of your hand. Your love is so, so grand. Oh, baby.
Hello, everybody. Glad to have you guys here today for this Monday crypto talk. We're going to get into a few key headlines that we have. For one, we have the weekend update or the week update, right? To catch you guys up on some things. You know, was it a true Fed pause? We're going to get into that. On top of it, we're going to give you some news in regards to, believe it or not, Richard Hart. Kind of interesting news. A little bit more of the mainstream news, and they're going to get into some of the key headlines in regards to Jasmine. You guys know the big news you should know about now, but we'll get into that as well. We have also some Stellar for you guys and a particular other update in regards to Jasmine that you may not have been aware of, even though all the focus is obviously on Binance Japan. So without further ado, please smash that like. See how we're doing on likes real quick. We're at 16 likes. Please smash it before we can get up to, reach a broader base of people. But glad to have you guys here. It's going to be a good show. And I'm just going to give you guys a little disclaimer here in a bit. If for any reason, I will be interrupted at some point because my dad's waiting for a nurse to come by. And it's very important that she sees him. So I have to actually pause and go away from the camera for a bit, just for a brief bit, to let her in and for she could take care of what she needs to and so on. And then I'll be right back. But that's not going to happen just yet. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up. All right. Going to welcome the one and only Tim Shea, who says, hey, glad to have you here. The crypto commissioner, mayor of crypto, representing the 589th. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Tim Shea, who says, hey. All right. Patrick Collier is also here. Thank you for being here, Patrick. He says, Big Max, soon to be Professor Max. Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Patrick, as always. April Cornwell's here. She says, hey, happy Monday night, everyone. Hey, hope everyone's having the best day from April Cornwell. Thank you, April. On top of that, we have Orb, a.k.a. Brian Dowie. He says, sup, Max. Glad to have you here, Brian. Boom, right at you. Aussie Life is here. Glad to have you here as well, Aussie Life. He's got the brewskis out and so on. I just have a little bit of root beer. I haven't had no root beer in a long time. I'm sure somebody's going to give me crap for having root beer, but you know what? Not today. Not feeling it today. Got to have a root beer. Anyway, I haven't had root beer in forever. Brittany says, happy Monday. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you, Brittany, also. GG's in the house. It's that time again. Thank you. Boomer Effin' Sooner is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. The one and only Boomer Effin' Sooner. Glad to have you. And let's go further down. River also in the house. Brian Riley, welcome back. Glad to have you back, Brian Riley. There's a dab to you. Glad that you guys are welcoming each other, saying hello to each other. Dwight, welcome back. Glad to have you back, Dwight. Thank you so much for being a part of this community now. I would say after all the times you showed up now, you're definitely part of the community. Thank you so much, man. Antoine Zim, welcome back. He says, hi, team. Same goes to you, Antoine. Thank you so much for being here. Jack W, same applies to you. Welcome back, Jack W. Let's get this party started, he says. All right. What's this, Hulk? Crypto Hulk? Boomer Effin' Sooner says, finally caught a Hulk video. How do folks get through it with all that throat clearing? My gosh. It's the research, I guess, trumps all that. So anyway, some of y'all ask him. I mean, you never know. Maybe he has like Barrett's esophagus or something like that. It's an incurable disease. My dad has it, but he doesn't like have to clear it as much as he does. But teaches him. All right, that might be something I have to worry about because my esophagus has been getting really narrow, and apparently that's also affecting my sleep. It's my sleep apnea problem. All right, go further down. Hulk has all kinds of stuff in his throat. Oh, jeez. All right, Newman Lord, not to be confused with Newman from Seinfeld. With his research, he found that J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and U.S. Bancorp jointly own Clear Exchange. Clear Exchange is now known as Zelle. Co-founder at Zelle, Mike Kennedy, is CEO of Interstellar. Somebody posted something about from Wells Fargo earlier in regards to Ripple or Japan. Let me see that real quick. Let's see if I can see. Let me see if I can pull up something about that. I think I did find something about this. I think it came from American Banker and a few other sources. There was another one that was recent. Let me see if I just pull that up. I see what's going on. All right. Yeah, I'm going to pull up both of these a little bit later. This is good stuff. Yeah, from Finbold, and then it references the American Banker from a while back. Anyway, we'll get into that. Thank you for that, Newman Lord. Okay. He's never going to come to this show, man. He's never going to come to this show. Hulk should come to this show to see how an actual deep dive is done. Oh, jeez. He you know what? He provides what he provides. He bashes communities though, which sucks. But I guess he does contribute to the overall better good of things. BS Max, if he was on the show, he'd probably go tell you go F yourself and say that he's not going to shave his back. Probably. I don't know, but I have no beef with him. He does amazing deep dives and research. But thank you. Anyway. All right, let's go further down. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk, you guys still bullish on LCX? Yes, I am. Haven't heard much about. Think about that for a second, Mr. Lambos. I want you to think about that. All right. That's a good thing. Some people are going to say that's a bad thing. I haven't seen a trend. Could we give some good examples? You know where I'm going with this. Quant. There was a time frame of people were like, man, not much is going on in Quant. I'm going to get out of Quant. And then it's just like, yeah, Project Rosalind, Bank of England, Bank of International Settlements literally chooses Quant with Overledger to be the one to, get it done, if you will, and then some. Another perfect example of, the 2022 bear market and so on. All that sideways action for XDC. Oh, Andre Casterman, he said that this thing was going to go to the moon back in 2021. And then in 2022, we had the bear market. Well, he's human. He got it wrong on that one. But look how that turned out. You know what I mean? And there was a period of time where there was not much being said. The way I'm starting to treat a lot of these things that have solid real world utility, especially LCX, the tokenization of physical and digital assets, I'm treating it as, if you don't see much being said, they are working on things in the background. It has proven itself time and time again. Now, it proves itself to true utility projects and so on. It has not proved itself when it comes to projects, sorry to say, a lot of them that are meme related. Let's just be real about that. I think we're going to be more than fine. I also like the idea that, they listed XRP on the Liechtenstein exchange. Yeah. That was a big time. Guten Tag, the Liechtenstein exchange. Just me in the house. Shout out to Mr. Magic Power if he's here. All right. Let's go further down. Thank you. Appreciate that, Dwight. All right. Let's go into more comments. Derek is also here. He's like, hola, Hola, mother effers. Okay, well, whatever. All right, let's go further down to some more comments. Crypto Holmes is here. Welcome, welcome. 777. Mike says, hi, is BTC a buy? Let me see if you think BTC is a buy. It was definitely a buy at during the time of FTX, but a lot of people missed out on that. I think more of the alts are still going to be the better buy, but BTC at 29,333. Also, just depends on your outlook on some of this. I mean, if your outlook is like, what, I think it does go to 100K, it goes to 300K. We talked about that before too, right? Whatever the case be, even at 100K, it's not bad if you got the means necessary to invest in it. I will still say that the alts are where it's at, but none of it's financial advice anyway. But it's a good question. And welcome, Mike. Glad to have you here. All right, let's go further down. Maorb, aka Brian Dowie, says, Max, I'll let him know he's invited to do a live with you. Actually, you know what? Okay, you guys think this is a joke. I will show the guy respect. All right. I won't disrespect him or anything like that. That's just not my nature to really disrespect anybody. I know I had that little thing with what's his name? Bellwether, right? He's the one who brought that to us, if you will, right? And I even posted in the comments, and the offer still stands. He says, I'll be more than glad to debate anybody on any platform. The offer still stands. I'm not going to have him come here and treat him like crap. I don't expect you guys to treat him like crap either. I don't think you guys are going to do that. You guys joke around a little bit, but any of these guys are totally welcome to come. But as far as them actually coming on the platform, let's just be real. It's kind of doubtful. You know what I mean? I think I got a better chance of Eva Savajou. Yes, Eva Savajou, Le Machali, being on this platform than I do Crypto Hulk or Mr. Bellwether. I'm just being real. All right. But yeah, the invitation's always welcome. I don't know. I have my doubts that he'll be on here, but it's okay. You guys can still watch Crypto Hulk. I watch Crypto Hulk. I mean, he does it probably better than anybody when it comes to taking something, right, from somewhere. Like somebody saw the same article like maybe a year ago, and it's just like, all right, 1492 XRP sailed the ocean blue, hit a rock, spit it, and all over the crew with Brian Dowie in 1492. Arg, like, whoa, 1492. How did you pull that out of thin air? But somehow he pulls it out of thin air, So shout out to him. All right. That takes a certain type of skill, certain type of talent. We'll get into the outline that we have here in a bit. No mind luck. As soon as we get into the outline is when I'll get interrupted, but it's okay. All right. XDC will easily hit East market cap max. Yeah, that, based off of 1%, actually less than 1%, if you think about it, right? I have to get exact math on that, but it's pretty interesting stuff. This is a good comment also from Antoine Zen. People giving up on quant deserve to sell at a loss. Patience pays off. That's them. They got to do what they got to do. You know what I mean? It's just the way I look at it is I will buy it for cheaper. I think you guys look at that or are currently doing that, not just with quant. I mean, there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies we do that, but they're going to do that and we're going to come by and snatch it away. Anyway. All right. Let's just read a few more comments. Cody Core, welcome back. Hit that like button. Thank you, Cody. Welcome back, man. I already said this earlier. See, I knew it was coming, Magic Power. I knew it was coming, my friend. All right, but welcome. Glad to have you here. Stargazers in the house. Hey, Max. Hello, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, glad to have you here, man. Doing pretty good. AZ Marine Snipers here with your heart being sued by the SEC. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a bit. It's part of our headlines. On top of that, we got Travis Anderson. When do you think XRP will flip BTC? Oh, man, I want to say there's a possibility late 2024, but I think obviously by the end of 2025, we should have some real true utility run. I think that's when it's going to happen. Some people are saying I'm wrong. It's going to happen earlier. Hey, cool. It's not about me being right or wrong. I mean, it's just whenever it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? I'm I'm a big proponent of XRP and doing well. So it will be the second time, technically speaking. I mean, a lot of people feel as though the BTs and Cs never been under the number one spot. XRP was there at one point. Anyway, good questions though. All right, so my orb 14. You caught that, huh? Yeah. My dad made that up one time. It's a little bit too vulgar for the show, but anyway. Oh, too vulgar for the show. Please, Max. You got Coney Islands loaded with onions on the show a week or two. That is true, but that's not going to happen again. All right, Newman Lord is keeping it serious. Financial institutions that own SWIFT include Bank of America, Citibank, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Barclays, BNP Paribas, Credit Suisse, ING, Societe Generale, and Unicredit. Well, thank you for that. You don't sound like that, but I just felt like doing that voice. Why? Because we were referencing Bank of America. All right, let's welcome Cash Cats. Glad to have you. Going a little bit further down, we also got the one and only GT, Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger together. And let's see here. Polyfew Francais. Francois. All right. Jasmine be listening. Yep. It's good stuff. All right. Let's jump into the first part of what we have. And if anything, I think I might reserve this for a little bit later because I don't want to get interrupted for this one. So we do have your weekly update, something we do like on Mondays. For the most part, it's like this new thing. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Been watching the show for a while. Get a little weekly update. But since I'm probably going to be interrupted, I'm just going to jump to the next part of what we have, which is Richard Hart and the SEC and Hex and all that good stuff. So give me a second. I'm going to see if this lady's here. Just a moment. All right, give me a second. The nurse said it would be 7:10 my time. That's 50 minutes from now. So we have a new thing that we're going to do then. I'm going to backtrack to keep up with the flow. Be a little bit better this way. So we are going to give you guys that weekly update. Let's just get into the weekly update. I also want to welcome Racing Death. Hey, everyone. New name, same white car. All right. Well, welcome back, Racing Death. It's Death Proof with a white car, if you ever seen Death Proof. And then on top of that, let's also welcome XRP Boss. Hey, look at that, XRP Boss. Let's check this out. New avatar. All right, that's a good picture. Well, thank you for being here. She says, hey, Tim, Orb, and the rest of the internet family. That's good. All right, you came in the right time, XRP Boss. All right, let's jump into our weekly review. All right, basically reviews what happened in the last week and also over the weekend, and we're bringing it to you today, hence the review. Smash that like. Let's see how we're doing on the likes. Currently at 34 likes. We have 43 people watching. If this is your first time tuning in, we have a very welcoming community. Any questions or comments you have, feel free to drop them in the comments. And for all you regulars and CTN family members, please give everybody a warm welcome who's new. All right, so what we're going to do then is we're going to kick it into this, and I'm going to take off some of the banners and stuff like that just to kind of put some emphasis on it. And that way nothing's kind of, bleeding over on the overlay. All right, so here we go. Here's the weekly update. It does come from a particular service that you guys know, which is basically Investor Place. It's a premium service that I subscribe to annually. And basically speaking, excuse me, here it is. It says patience will soon turn into profit for crypto investors. How cool is that? A lot of us have been really, really patient through all this, right? I mean, some of you guys have been investing in altcoins longer than I have, like maybe since 2016 or 2018 or whatever the case, right? For me, the alts started January of 2021. I don't really count my journey of, buying I don't know, I guess you could say significant portion of a BTC back in 2016 is really counting. I think a lot of people, let's just be honest, right? BTC was probably your entry point. You didn't know much about it, but you thought, what the heck? I'll give it a chance. So my thing is this, whatever the case be, newcomer, veteran to crypto, how about this? Is your patience going to soon basically pay off? That's the bottom line. Well, it says, we think patience is about to turn into profit in a big way. Of course, originally written by Luke Lango, Charlie Shrem. This was reported on Saturday. The overall crypto markets fell flat this last week. They, of course, have a few key observations, which they're making increasingly bullish on the crypto markets as far as their review. They specifically look at altcoins. We look at altcoins all the time, especially the ones that have real solid utility, right? So it says, I think that patience is about to turn into profit in a big way. Even for myself and some of you guys have some that you purchased at the bottom and you are in the green, as in the profits. You're not complaining, right? Look at this for a second, guys. Continued altcoin outperformance. BTC and Ethereum fell flat this last week. However, like it mentions, certain altcoins bucked that trend and rallied nicely this last week. They even reference XDC. Why won't they not reference XDC? Another one that we basically, cover here all the time, Casper, that rose up about 13%. But yeah, I mean, XDC, at one particular point, we did see it as high as 85%. And then on the average for the week, we saw 120, 140. Of course, it went down since then. But nonetheless, pretty big things. And especially if you own like XSP, all right? That was the one I was referencing, actually. That was part of XDC. There's other ones here. I couldn't believe that they even referenced Bone. Shout out to Boomer F and Sooner. He's like, you need to cover Bone more often. Bone rose about 10%. So they have some other ones that are basically mentioned here. They noted a few weeks ago that they feel as though that they're entering, or we are entering, an altcoin season. I feel that way as well. And it basically points to this mark in regards to the crypto boom cycle, where they feel that the rally starts to broaden out, of course, to altcoins. Very, very true. They remain bullish on that thesis. I've been talking about this particular thesis long before I think a lot of people were talking about, or when it was very unpopular to talk about, right? If I talked about it, people kind of, frown or not take me serious, right? Like, hey, man, everybody's saying it's clearly, extremely bearish times right now. What you smoking? All right, that type of thing. And it's okay. It's what comes with the territory. All right. I want to cover this part real quick before we get more into this outline for you guys on this weekly review. It's something that we've referenced quite a few times. I did feel as though that, once we got a Fed pause, it was blast off. But was it really a true Fed pause? Let's talk about this for a brief moment. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. So it says the real Fed pause is incoming. Now you may think, Max is going back on what he said. Luke Lango, Charlie Shrem, Investor Plays. They went back on what they said. No, got some data to back that up. So it says inflation data this last week, if you've been paying attention to this, was very soft. Primarily the June personal consumer expenditures report landed last Friday and showed that the PCE inflation rate slowed to below, listen to this, guys, 3% last month. Since 1990, we're referencing all the way back to 1990, the PCE inflation rate has averaged between 1% and 3.5%. Thus, at 3%, the current PCE inflation rate has finally returned to normal levels for the first time in this inflation cycle. That is worth pointing out. Right? That's why we do reference some of these things. The inflation fight increasingly appears over, which means the Fed's rate hiking cycle, which we all pay attention to. How many times have you guys said, it's going to be 25 basis points. It's going to be 50 basis points, right? How long we've been doing this? For over a year now, right? Well, in regards to that, this means that the Fed's rate hike cycle increasingly appears over too. Their futures market is pricing in. A lot of you guys do the futures market. Shout out to Coochie Boy Elon Muff, aka Mike Cornwell, was pricing in at 80% odds that the Fed's last rate hike happened on Wednesday. As we've highlighted before, the last time the Fed paused a rate hiking cycle, listen to this, guys, just in case you're new, all the way in the back row, right? Listen to this. BTC went on a tear, and not just a tear, but like absolutely shredded. Like, wow, like parabolic stuff going on, right? We're going to show you some of the charts, all that good stuff. Again, smash that like. We think the Fed pausing is, or I should say, is basically a rate hiking cycle here. This now provides strong fundamental. I have a hard time talking today because of my asthma. Strong fundamental support for significant strength in the crypto markets in the back half of 2023. All right, so here's a little bit of what I was talking about on the chart. I've blown this up as much as I can without it, I don't know, looking too smeared. With PCE dropping below 3% in June, inflation has officially receded to long-term average levels between 1 and 3.5%. This is, again, referenced from the consumptions, expenditures, price index, okay? And here, how about this for a second? Target rate probability for the 20th of September 20th, 2023 in regards to the Fed meeting. Again, another thing on the freaking 20th. What is also going to happen on September 20th? You guys remember, right? I'm sure you remember. Electronics Trade Documents Act, not bill, act. And like I pointed out on Twitter earlier, or also in that YouTube video, what have we learned from XDC, right? March 20th, that was the one that did the biggest pump, right? Up over 45%. July 20th, not Fed now, but actually Electronics Trade Document Bill signed into an actual act by King Charles of the UK. What's going to happen on September 20th? I think it's proven itself at this point. I really think it has. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise that, or to dismiss XDC. I mean, I honestly think another big thing is going to happen. Yes, there's cryptos in which is a bad case of buy the rumor, sell the news, but there is exceptions. I think XDC is clearly the exception. But let's get back to this topic of the Fed pause. Okay, we've referenced this before. This shouldn't be like going above your head, but here's another reference. You see what happened back in 2018, right? Between that particular time period of 2018 to 2019 of the Bitcoin bottom. What was the key thing that happened at that mark? The Fed pause. What happened shortly after? Bitcoin surged. Look at the dates. Look at the range, I should say. So when we talk about 2020, that was the start of the bull market, the last cycle, right? The height of that market does represent itself and show itself on this particular chart. We see that it went up as high as 69K of BTC on 11/11/2021. All right. Then of course things went the other way. Look where we're at now. All right. Is this going to be the true Fed pause? Because if so, well, it looks like we're going to get some crazy momentum. And this is, of course, fuels that fire of that debate of, wow, maybe we will see 100K BTC, or maybe it is possible that we achieve even higher than that. And of course, we want to focus, at least I do, on altcoins. At the same time, if you have the means necessary to do both, well, you can see where this is going. History says higher prices are on the way. Well, history also says, if you've been paying attention to a chart, you've been paying attention to these cycles, you've been paying attention to the accumulation phase, the market phase comes after, right? And that market phase does mean that, yeah, higher prices are on its way, especially when it comes to alts. So we have long stated that crypto price action is very cyclical. I pronounce that right. Again, I'm having a hard time today. In that crash cycles and recoveries in cryptos have strong similarities. The first boom and bust cycle of 2011 looks a lot like the second boom and bust cycle 2013. Now, what happened in 2013? We've highlighted this in the quant video before. If you guys have been, following us for a long time, you know that. One of the key things to pay attention, especially when it came to Bitcoin, was it going from $100 in 2013 to literally thousands of dollars right? That was a big, big, giant leap. For some people, it's like, and then from there, as high as like $10,000 or more, right? That was a big, giant leap in the cycle. That's why we always reference 2013 because, if you think about it, investing in QT is like investing into BTC back in 2013. Think about it. Talks about this third boom and bust cycle 2017. Mentions also that in the fourth boom and bust cycle, there's some other things to be referenced, but in 2021 with a big crash, and this whole thing is of course continued to 2023, the solid recovery. Benchmarking the cycle against the previous 3 cycles, we see that we're at the point in which the cycle where crypto prices normally start to meaningfully improve. This is why they give you all this stuff. They don't just basically just say, oh, here's what we heard. You guys, we all watch all sorts of different shows, and there's nothing wrong with those shows, right? I think there's some really great people part of those, shows, right? But the key thing is showing you guys something to back up, not just an opinion, but like as the saying goes, especially Mike Cornwell, he always says this, or I should say, numbers don't have emotions. How about this? The data, it may seem emotional, but there's no emotions really in that either. How about this part real quick? They strongly believe history is on the side of the bulls here. Well, we need to hear something bullish for a change, right? Look at these dang bears, man. I'm getting tired of these bears. But maybe you guys aren't tired of the bears yet. You haven't hit your goals. Well, if you haven't, recognize that we're going to have, in my opinion, still a pullback that's going to happen here in August. This is why I'm not going to even let my emotions and the pressure of people saying, Max, hurry up and jump on the Caspa train. Trust me, I believe that I need to cover Caspa, and I will regularly. But if I feel as though that I can get a better entry point, a significantly better entry point, then I'm going to do that. Some people say, well, at 2 to 3 cents, it ain't going to matter that much. Depends on how much you put in, right? You do the math on some of that. All right, Bitcoin crash cycles. We're not going to get into all this that much. You can look into this a little bit more if you want. But I like this part. And we're almost done in regards to the segment, but it says technicals supported of a big move or is higher sooner than later. In regards to last week, they mentioned that they told us that BTC was following a 2 steps forward, 1 step back pattern, and a technical stage 2 breakout trend. I think you're still seeing some of this go on as we speak. Hence why I feel as though, there's going to be a particular period in August, maybe here soon within the next week, where, all right, I'm going to wait for it just a little bit longer, load up on a few more of my alts, all right, make a position, obviously, in Caspa, some of these other ones, and then be glad about it, and then DCA from there, right? Some people feel as though, you don't need to worry about that, Max, but to each is known. It says if this path continues, for instance, BTC should find support around a current level very soon before surging higher in the third quarter, 35,000. I'm telling you guys flat out, if you haven't been paying attention to some of this stuff, not just here at CTN, but basically from other outlets, and that is 35K is a crucial support level for blast off from there on out. Our goal is to go on an altcoin shopping spree before this technical surge goes higher, right? Part of your last chances for accumulation phase. Now, don't get me wrong. I still reserve the whole, aspect of I could be wrong. Could be wrong as in how. There's crazy people that live in this world, like Vladimir Putin and so on. Crazy things could happen in a bull market. Crazy things could happen, obviously, in a bear market. But the point is, based off of the current data, things look really bullish. So they feel as though we still have a few more weeks in regards to the altcoin shopping spree or the accumulation phase. I feel as though as well. Some of you guys, I know we all have different living circumstances or whatever, right? You may get paid every 2 weeks. You may get paid once a month. Maybe you get paid weekly. Wherever the case be, recognize that I personally feel, and I'm not the only one that feels this way, that the accumulation phase has some strong indicators that it's running out. I'm just throwing that out there. You can still make a good amount of money right before the market phase, but as far as really truly accumulating that, all these ones that rock bottom prices, well, then that's where you go to your watch list and you try to find out which ones still haven't done much or had a big pullback. You get what I'm saying? I hope to God some of you guys do have a proper portfolio manager and so on. That way you can pay attention to what's on sale, what isn't. All right, how about this? Overall, we remain very bullish on the idea that a fourth crypto boom cycle started in December 2022. Yeah, let's face it, did seem to be the case. And that into 2025, cryptos will surge higher. The name of the game today is that we try to locate strategic buying opportunities for this new boom cycle. Hence why I was saying, if you have a watch list, like I have a crazy big, huge watch list, right? And some people criticize, like, oh, that's too much. Not really, because some of those are great ones with a real world utility, and some of those are just maybe some garbage tokens that haven't done anything for a while. But I even pay attention to some of the garbage ones because it's interesting to see them not do anything and out of nowhere just pump. Why is that? So is it because the ownership of the contract wasn't renounced and the dev was moving liquidity around? You never know, right? For various fundamental reasons, we believe this boom cycle would be led by a regulatory compliant cryptos, true, with real world, like I was mentioned earlier, operational project, or in other words, high quality dApps. Now, that is one thing I do like about being subscribed to this service. And no, this is not me shilling their service. We're not a sponsored channel by any means necessary, but I want to state this real quick. If you happen to be a person that subscribed to Investor Place, one thing that was really, really pointed out, I believe it was I'm going to say late last year or maybe last summer, was watch out for what happens with dApps by the end of 2023, right? And we're already starting to see some big things happen with some of those dApps. As we get more into tonight's outline of what we have for you guys, I don't think we should dismiss, and remember me saying this, LumaSwap, all right? So if we're paying attention to, for instance, obviously XDC's XSwap, XSP, and GBEX, and so on, but especially XSP, right? We know that that's their premier swap, right? Well, what about Stellar? Exactly. I'm going to show you guys some things in regards to that maybe we've forgotten about, or maybe we should just pay more attention to. All right, how about this? They feel as though that we are currently focused on finding some of the best dApp-related altcoins to buy in August. I'll give you guys a little bit more of that report later on. Don't have it ready for you guys right now. But here's some things I just want to basically mention. I know some of you guys still have Chili's. I know Brian Dowie hates it, so it's okay. You can dismiss this, Brian Dowie. In regards to Chili's, they hit a 1 million transactions on its new Chili's chain. The sports blockchain continues to be used by fans across the globe. I also like this statement because we do cover Filecoin, right? We're going to try to cover it more regularly. So a project on Solana is saving the blockchain's entire history on Filecoin. Think about this for a second. This will help infrastructure providers, developers, and users access and explore this data more easily. So all the criticism about, Solana, it goes down. One of the criticisms was they have a problem when it comes to data truncating, if you know what that means, right? Too much of a packet being compressed, and it creates what is called truncation, right? Well, with Filecoin, this solves, one of the many problems that, let's face it, Solana does have. Well, this is good for both Solana and Filecoin. So I thought I'd point that out. A lot of you guys hold, for instance, Polygon. Listen to this real quick. Italy's central bank will use a Polygon-based DeFi project to help institutions, because we're always talking about institutions, tokenize assets. Italy's Milano hub will support the DeFi for security token ecosystem for 6 months. That's pretty big. There's, of course, other news here. We're not going to get into that. The next part, what we're going to get into is the whole topic of Richard Hart and Hex. But for the time being, I am going to kick it back to the comments and get into this for just a brief bit. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you guys. I saw a super chat came through. I'm going to get into that in just a bit. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. Currently speaking, we are at 47 likes, and we have over 63 people watching. So, the numbers have really kicked up within the last week or so. A lot of newcomers. I really appreciate you guys, and especially you guys that have been really trying to help us here at CTN, part of this community, by resharing, retweeting about the show, and as well as like some of the videos and so on. All right. Let's read the super chat from Henry Brown. He says, shout out to the CTN fam, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Henry Brown. And again, like I mentioned earlier, hopefully you are feeling a lot better and you're recuperating well. All right. I'm going to go further up and let's see where I was last. A lot of comments that came in since then. Want to welcome back Harlem Stuntman. He says, greetings to Selmo Fudd. Welcome back, Harlem Stuntman. And Big Dave has got a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Let me check the other screen and see what that looks like real quick. It looks like Grimace from McDonald's, but it's like aqua color. Huh, that's cool. Thank you, Big Dave. Really appreciate that, man. $5 super sticker. All right. Welcome to Larry, Mr. Ooh Larry. Welcome. Learning Vol with a $10 super chat. Says, what's up, CTN crew? Thank you so much. I know I'm not going in the right order, but I'm just trying to make sure as I'm going up to get to where I need to be. But I do appreciate that. Darius, thank you so much. Didn't mess it up this time because sometimes I do mess it up between you and Darren, who is Fluffy Fluff in the Banana Hammocks. My God, what a name. Shout out to him. But thank you again for that $10 super chat, man. Appreciate that. All right. Henry Brown says, I know it's not much, but I'm still recovering. Here goes some support. Nah, man. Hey, I'm grateful whether it's $1 or, $500, man. I mean, thank you. I really appreciate that. You agree with prediction on XRP flipping BTC. Thank you. Let's just read a couple more and then see if there's any more to get into. XRP Boss. See you, Patrick Collier. We all got. Max community is the best. Thanks, XRP Boss. You rock. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome. How about this real quick from Antoine Zim? Richard Hart is an obvious scammer, very arrogant, showing off his wealth, buying stupid luxury items, and looking like a doofus as he does it, by the way. I mean, it's one thing to look good in your clothes. This guy does not look good in his clothes. Even I myself, if there's certain clothes that I have gifted to me or I go out and buy and I just don't think it looks right, well, most of the part, I'll try it on in the dressing room. I'm like, I don't, there's some things just, it looks good on the mannequin and then you put it on yourself. You're like, oh my God, it looks like hell. Anyway, but, yeah, man, he just looks like a constant doofus. And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, showing off his wealth, buying stupid luxury items, thinking he's a genius, timing the market. SEC is probably right on that one. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think at some point, some of us would probably be guilty of some of these things. Like if I tell you guys, after the utility run and I've hit my goals on my wealth and so on and so same with you guys, right? Shout to XXI Gaming. He wants to get a key thing. Hold on a second. I got to answer that real quick. This is the nurse. I'll be right back. It was not the nurse. It was the mailman dropping off some packages. All right. So anyway, yeah, just to get back on topic, my thing is I'm going to own some, some old school Impalas, right, from the early 60s and so on. I want some other vintage vehicles. Technically speaking, I guess that's showing off some of my wealth, right? If I buy a really nice lake house, which I am going to at some point, is that showing off my wealth? You get what I'm saying. But I also get what you're saying. All right. Was running back. All right. All right. So we went in the right direction. I think I covered everybody's for the most part. Did anyone see Jasmine's trading volume last Friday? We got a decent Q4 token lock. Yeah, we did share some of that. We shared it from Menelect and a few others. Big Dave says, great to catch you live tonight, Max. Hello. All the OGs. Thank you so much, man. A little out of breath, kind of ran to the door. So we lost some people for me answering the door. Sorry about that. Anyway, welcome also Travis Anderson and Selma Fudd. If I didn't welcome you guys earlier, sorry about that. Cash Cats, Blackwood. Who else we got up in this mug? I don't know, but I'm going to read this from Learning Evolve. Max, may you explain why you think August will be the start of a pullback, please? Oh, it's from the reports on the data from the premium service, just like the one I referenced just now. So I don't know if you caught from, we do this new thing. It's like every Monday, unless like it hasn't been reported. So if you guys who are the long time watchers and viewers and so on, if you missed the Monday show we'll do a review, and then we'll get into a review of the previous week, basically, like if anything happened, significantly that previous week and also over the weekend, because you guys know we don't do weekend shows no more. And so what was reported was there's going to be a pullback based off of the data in August. And this is why I'm like, well, CASP was like, as much as like 0.0, was it 0.38 or something like that. And I was like, based off the data, I mean, it's very well possible that it could go back to like the 2.9s. Now, it doesn't seem like much, right? But for me, it all adds up. And, it's one of those things. Maybe people don't like that. That's just the way I look at it. But I definitely am going to get into CASPA. And my thing is on that and some other ones, because I'm going to load up not just on some CASPA, I'm load up on some other ones as well. And so that it starts to add up. You know what I mean? We're talking like based on what I want to get, I'm looking at least $1,000 that's going to add up to. Now, if I was just buying like one particular asset, and just trying to hit like a certain goal, that wouldn't matter that much. And I would agree with some of the statements I've seen and so on, but that's just the way I look at it. All right, please smash that like. Let's just read a couple more comments. And that also is from Boomer F and Sooner. Boomer F and Sooner. He states, 5 trillion a month would be amazing, but burning 0.007 cents worth per transaction isn't enough. That's 714 transactions to burn that 5 trillion. Travis Anderson, CASPA market cap is way too high now. Developers' bags are stacked and will probably dump soon. I don't know about that, but I hear where you come from. You have a right to explain or share how you feel. Jaden Toko, what up, player? What up? Glad to have you here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get back into the outline. Just going to double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Want to welcome the one and only Elon Muff, a.k.a. Mike Cornwell. And let's see if there's anything else I missed. I don't think so. Except I'm looking like it's ready to do a pullback. All right. So we're going to get into the next part we have, which is this whole thing of Richard Hart. And in the process of doing so, I think I have something that you guys may have seen. Hold on a second. I don't have it. That's okay. I'm just going to play this article because I don't want to put too much focus on this guy. It is Richard Hart. Let's go ahead and share this. You guys have seen this for the most part. Maybe not from this outlet, but let's just talk about this for a brief moment. Some of you guys still hold Hex. I even thought about getting into Hex, especially Pulse Chain. I changed my mind on that, went with some other ones and so on. But nonetheless, many different news outlets are talking about this. So, yes, United States SEC sues Richard Hart of Hex and Pulse Chain on unregistered securities fraud allegations. Basically, it's $1 billion. $1 billion lawsuit. That's crazy. Crazy stuff, right? Looks like a deer in the headlight right there, right? What's going on with that? But yeah, they sued internet marketer Richard Schuler, a.k.a. Richard Hart, known online as Richard Hart, and his project Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X, alleging he raised over $1 billion across 3 different unregistered securities offering beginning in 2019. If you guys have noticed over the last 2 or 3 or more years, CMC would never properly, even to this day, you can look into it yourself, they never properly listed Hex based off of its correct market cap, right? And that was due to politics. I mean, technically speaking, it would have been like easily, I think, in the top 15, maybe the top 10, depending on, market cap and so on. But easily top 15, top 20. Okay. And if you go to CMC, it's like ranked 200 or something, might have dropped since then. But yeah, this part, right? Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse Hex allegedly raised over $1 billion across 3 different unregistered securities offerings beginning in 2019. Hart also defrauded his investors, the SEC alleged in a lawsuit on Monday, by using investor funds for personal goods. Now, here's the thing, right? Have you not seen the video where he's like completely bashing, XRP, saying that like no central bank is going to use that? I lost a lot of respect for him when he was, just going after the XRP army. This is a perfect case of what goes around comes around. If you're into Hex, I'm not trying to flood your Hex. Really, that's not my goal here. I'm just trying to report on what made the news, but there's a little bit more obviously to it than this. Look at this quote. Hart continually touted these investments as a pathway to grandiose wealth for investors, claiming that Hex, for example, was built to be the highest appreciating asset that has ever existed in the history of man. My God. The lawsuit said, although Hart claimed these investments were for the vague purpose of supporting free speech, he did not disclose that he used millions of dollars of Pulse Chain investor funds to buy luxury goods for himself. And let's face it, I mean, he has tried to justify some of this stuff by saying, i.e. donates a lot towards charity and so on. Like, why hate on the guy? And, even some people that are quote unquote Hexicans will say, yeah, I mean, he deserves to flaunt whatever he wants because he donates quite a bit to justify, and teach his own on that one. A little bit more about this. Excuse me, making sure I'm not muted. Pulse X and Pulse Chain launched earlier this month, but face rocky starts. Of course, right? There's a little bit more about this, liquidity issues, and if you follow the chart, there's been perfect cases on not necessarily Hex, but some of these other ones where you can literally see like the straight lines up and then straight horizontal. If you're new to crypto, always just know that there's something going on. Maybe a dev is moving liquidity, right? A nice chart should always look natural, right? Even on like a 1-hour chart or 24-hour chart or whatever the case be, it should always look natural. Like even Cypherian got a lot of, criticism because it was consistently doing that. Some people feel as though Sky Gal was doing something like that. I know this is about Hex, but that's a good example. Richard Hart made frequent references to the federal securities laws, right? He says the success of these endeavors were completely dependent on his efforts. Hart pumped Hex's capacity for investment gain, claiming at Hex.com until at least November 1st of 2020 that Hex is designed to surpass ETH, which did 10,000x price in 2.5 years. It's working. So far, Hex's US dollar amount price went up 115 times in 129 days. The suit said on December 2nd, 2019, during a 7-hour live stream on YouTube hours before the Hex offering commenced, Hart stated that Hex was built to outperform ETH and BTC and all other cryptos. Well, how so? Well, when we got more into it, it's because, let's face it, if you hold Hex, one of the best things about it supposedly was, the staking. Right. And if you locked up that staking and committed to it for many years, not just like a few months, but like a few years, you would get that much more rewards. Therefore, to a sense, that creates that supply, that demand. It rewards the Hex users with a pretty decent platform for yields. Right. I mean, that's how it was at least explained. I mean, I was on the brink of getting into it a couple of times. This time last year, and I think maybe a couple months ago. I even shared with Tim Shea, I was thinking about it, but I changed my mind. I went with some other ones I saw on sale. I think at that time I went, and I was like, oh my God, Graph is insanely cheap right now. Gone to Graph, gone to Audio, gone to some other things. Filecoin, right? You guys know the story with that. Anyway, there's a lot more to it than just this, and I thought I would just share at least that brief bit with you guys. Please smash that like. Let's get into just a couple more comments. And on top of that, River is asking if anyone has staked their XDC. I have not staked my XDC. On top of that, we have Boomer F and Sooner. $10 XLM is 273 billion market cap. Wow. All right, let's go further down. Learn and Evolve. This is crazy because I came across Pulse Chain some days ago and was considering to invest, shaking my head. Well, there's a reason why it's called Dyor with Max for a reason, right? Yeah, we get together, not just me, you guys too. We share community-driven research and so on, right? Don't want to see anybody get wrecked. I really mean that. I really don't want to see anybody get wrecked. We're not a sponsored channel. Why would I want to see anybody get wrecked? If I want to see people get wrecked, I would have been like, hey guys, we are sponsored. Oh my God, you got to check out the latest, greatest thing in the world. We are sponsored by Dog Crap Inu. Yeah, it's got great utility. You know what you can basically do? For the low cost of 0.12 zeros and a 1, you can use the E-Pooper Scooper. That is our NFT utility to pick up this dog crap in the metaverse. And then from there, you can fling it at virtual targets in this metaverse. But the problem is we don't have the metaverse yet. But if you invest just 2 ETH into our project, we will have future utility. And we will promise that it will go to the moon. So, Dog Crap Inu, sponsored by GoScrewYourself.com. Dog Crap Inu, Dog Crap Inu. Now, that's horrible, right? But in reality, you guys get where I'm going with this. Those are real projects. They might not be called Dog Crap Inu, but in reality, there's a lot of that going on. All right, let's go further down into some more comments. River says he's been looking into it. Blackwood, Globance has it, not locked up for a year. That's right. Globance does have pretty decent yields, but at least it's built on a solid blockchain of XDC, Pink Taco Inu. Yes, buy more Pink Taco Inu. No, not really. All right, it doesn't even exist, so maybe at some point it exists. Anthony, I took your advice and sold all of my XRP. I hope I won't regret it. You didn't hear from me. I never gave advice like that. What the heck? All right. BlackRock pumps trillions in. We all millionaires and billionaires. Yes. Remember what we said. I mean, we gotta look at it from reality. Even if it was only like, let's say 10% of what they hold in assets, this is where the expression of tokenized assets comes from. They tokenize 10% of those assets. That's not speculative anymore. I think sometimes people forget that. Like, remember the example we've been using for the last few weeks? BlackRock, Fidelity, right there. That's $10 trillion worth of assets. If we just took 10% of those two, and as we know, there is like, what is it, like 50 or 60 more real standout institutions. Obviously, BlackRock's the biggest one of the bunch, right? With 9 trillion. But the point is, you get some of those other ones, and even without getting those other ones, if it's just BlackRock and Fidelity at 10%, that matches our current market cap, right? So that would actually double our current market cap at these conditions, which is not really, the most bullish conditions there is out there. That's huge. All right. I am going to use GG's comment as a bookmark. I'm going to jump back to what we have. All right, so we're going to get into the next topic of what we have. Forget all this mainstream news. It's time for some Jasmine, for crying out loud, right? Let me see if it is. Let me see what time this lady told me, the nurse said that she was going to be here. She's going to be here 10 minutes. Oh, boy. Maybe I won't start this right now. I'll do something else because I don't want it to be interrupted on that part. That's a good part. But to give you a heads up, we are going to talk about Binance Japan. We're also going to talk about with the news of Binance, if anything happened with Jasmine today, a tad bit, not too much. There's another topic that needs to be referenced in regards to what Haro was talking about. I have something to back it up in regards to patents. Were you aware that Kazumasa Sato of Jasmine and Sony, right? Former Sony bigwig, right? Executive. There was another key patent that needs to be referenced, and Hara referenced it, which is cool. So we're going to talk about that in a bit. On top of this, let's see what else we got for you guys. We're going to tie some things in regards to IBM and Hyperledger, why that matters. We're going to talk about finger vein recognition. I know you guys are going to take that off the deep end. Shame on you, anyway. But there's some other things. Obviously, we're going to get into some Stellar. Maybe we just do the Stellar segment real quick. Let me see what we got on that. Yeah, we can pull this up. All right, so there is a marketing awards program in regards to MoneyGram. And this guy who goes by the name of Tomer interviews some of these guys. So I want to pull this up. I fast forward to some of the key areas. Smash that like for some Stellar. I know it said it was be Jasmine, but I'm going to get interrupted here in a bit, and I don't want to mess up the flow. But it's okay to do it for Stellar, Max. Shame on you. Yeah, I know. But, there's a little bit more of a deeper dive when it comes to Jasmine tonight than it does, Stellar. But anyway. There's another super chat that came in. Well, we can read this real quick. Comes from the one and only XXI Gaming. Thank you so much, man. It says CTN, thank you guys for all you do, giving your time all these months, years to help educate people in this space. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. What's good, CTN fam? Thanks, man. And at some point, like I mentioned, I do look forward to get my butt kicked by you in Madden, but I will try my best to bring it, okay? I will try. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably going to do all these long bomb Hail Marys, 100 yards or more every single time, and then I'm just going to get smoked. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to that at some point, man. I think it'd be great. Thanks to you, Mr. XXI Gaming. And that was a very generous $20 super chat. Thank you so much just for being a longtime supporter and member of our community here at CTN. It's more than appreciated. All right. Mass adoption around the corner. Then we get Fire and Moon Blast off. Just looked it up. Q&T is proof of work. Triple X, XXX Gaming. Wow. Hello. All right. Shiba can absolutely lose a zero, can lose 2 zeros. Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe this next time around I may finally just get completely out of Shiba when it does that, but we'll see. All right. I think I have about 6 minutes till this lady gets here, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this. So we're gonna show you guys this. Let's put up on the thing, and I'm going to give you guys a little brief synopsis, it's not a movie, about this real quick. So Stellar and MoneyGram access, right? So this came from the Stellar Development Foundation a few days ago. Basically, it says that this is their marketing awards program for wallets and fintechs. They have this interview, right, in regards to Tom Curran Levitt from the Strategic Partnerships over at Stellar Development Foundation. Also, Mike Fletcher, who's the head of product marketing from MoneyGram. It's a comprehensive interview, if you will, in regards to the new marketing awards program. Now, I want to state this, right? This is a marketing awards program for like the devs and so on. Now, for people like us, you're like, well, why do you even put that much emphasis on it? Just here's why. And we're going to explain that in this video. This guy does a great job of giving you this update on what's going on. This is something that, in my opinion, kind of flew under the radar. But here's just something I just want to throw out there. I don't know 100%, but I do understand some of these things in business. So same with you guys, right? So with Ripple, for instance, if Palau was the testing grounds, if you will, get what I'm saying, for what Ripple's trying to do, all right? Even with Stellar, you could kind of say the testing grounds are the devs. Well, obviously, right? But they can be the guinea pigs, if you will, when it comes to testing out these awards. If it goes well and they get great feedback, can you imagine, maybe, possibly, all right? And I'm not trying to do a buy the rumor, sell the news or anything like that. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of this would make sense, that if they get great feedback about this with the rewards and so on, you may very well see some of these rewards for people like ourselves that use these platforms and so on. How do we know that? Right? A great example is, for instance, with Jasmine, the monetization of your data. Well, what about MoneyGram access for, rewards for people using MoneyGram? Oh, well, you use the platform to pay your bills and all sorts of things. Don't we already have programs like that as we speak, even not counting the crypto friendly ones? Yeah, we do. We see it with like our Visa rewards programs and so on. So is it this, too crazy of a thought to explain that? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm going to play this. Smash that like. I really fast forward it to a key area. Listen to what he has to say in regards to this MoneyGram update. Here we go.
Before doing that, though, I think it'd probably be a good idea just to talk a little bit about what we're doing with MoneyGram more broadly. For anyone on the line who might be unfamiliar with what we're doing in our partnership that launched just over a year ago. We partnered with MoneyGram back in June of last year to turn their 300,000 agent locations around the world, which runs it through about 180 countries and territories, into physical cash to crypto and crypto to cash on and off ramps for unbanked users around the world. With this program, we've seen participating wallets, exchanges, and fintech applications enable a ton of different use cases. Most commonly, we've seen non-custodial wallets use this to break into new geographies. We've seen custodial wallets use this to strengthen their existing rails and add new rails in the markets in which they already operate. And we've seen both add a ton of new use cases that might not have otherwise been possible. Those range from international aid delivery to cross-border payments and remittances to crypto buy sell to US dollar pegged assets as a hedge against inflation. But all of those use cases generally will get back to our overarching mandate, which is opening up financial access to folks who might not otherwise have it. In general, the use case that I personally am most excited about is the journey of someone in Kenya or Argentina or the States or anywhere else really, who has always wanted to get into digital assets and get access to the use cases they enable, who can now take their Kenyan shilling, their Argentinian peso, or their US dollar, or again, any other asset, take it in from under their mattress into a participating MoneyGram location, and then get that asset in their digital wallet in the form of Stellar USDC. To jump a bit more into the specifics of the integration, again, for anyone not familiar, this is powered via Stellar's on and off ramp API, SEP24, and the settlement asset for this transaction is Stellar USDC. Stellar USDC is front-ended a bit in the flow, so your users will see USDC, as you can see up on the screen here, for the cash in and for the cash out, but we don't always expect it to be the destination asset. We consider this a cash to crypto play rather than a cash to Stellar USDC play. I also commented briefly on kind of the different use cases for custodial and non-custodial wallets. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there are different onboarding paths for both. Custodial wallets are required to be licensed in the jurisdictions in which they operate this product. Non-custodial wallets do not share that requirement. And then I'd also call out the KYC is collected by MoneyGram via an in-app web view, but we get questions all the time about this. If your user has already submitted KYC once, it will pre-populate going forward, so it should be a really seamless user experience. With that, I will stop talking and I'll kick it over to Mike to announce not one, but two exciting things today. The next slide is going to immediately give away the first thing, but Mike, I'll let you run with it.
Thanks, Tom. Really pleased to be with everybody at Stellar and all the folks on the call today. There are announced no fees through June of 2024. We are waiving all consumer on-off ramp fees. And then secondly, wallets can now charge a fee, and they have the opportunity to directly monetize the on-off rails. We're excited about this opportunity. We think it's a game changer. We think it gives you an opportunity that you haven't had before. We're happy to introduce it through June of 2024. So what is the MoneyGram Access Awards Program? This is a fast-paced open application awards program that allows wallets such as yours to apply for, integrate with, and connect with MoneyGram Access. Under this program, approved wallets and fintechs have the opportunity to receive up to $50,000 for marketing support. So what does that support look like? On the next slide, you can see there are various ways in which the award funds can be used. You can use them for paid digital media, such as Google Ads, offline marketing, such as live events, PR or communication support, even in-app incentives that encourage your customers to refer others or to take in-app activities that drive transactions. Awards are not supported by things such as speculation or wash trading. Certainly those are things we'd want to avoid. We look forward to hearing from many of you about the creative options and the creative ways that you'll use the marketing awards.
And Mike, before I jump into the next slide, I'm curious if you can share kind of the marketing campaigns that you're most excited about, or maybe some successes of past wallets that have already started marketing MoneyGram Access.
Absolutely. Well, we've worked very well with both Lobster and Vibrant, both of whom have driven downloads and installs through awareness campaigns, primarily through a variety of upper funnel communication tools and digital media tools, such as Google Ads, Meta. They've also executed a number of new creative top of funnel campaign elements, including digital out of home. PR and communication support is an option as well. And there's opportunities to drive transactions through in-app activities. So we look forward to seeing some of that activity from future wallets. We have one wallet who's already submitted their request and have included both in-app incentives and live event support as part of their campaign metrics.
Mike, maybe you could give an example of one potential in-app incentive.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Do you mind giving an example of a type of in-app incentive that wallets do?
Absolutely. So the one that we are looking at now is for every $50 USDC cash in via MoneyGram, they will deposit 20 USDC in the consumer's wallet. In this way, you're rewarding the consumer for taking a physical transaction with a digital reward.
And I just got a question in the chat. I had promised me that I would not steal any of these until the question and A window, but I do think it's kind of relevant while we're on this screen. We got a question here around the word offline for offline marketing and live events. Does that mean that participating wallets can't do online events with the funds from this?
Oh, you can absolutely do both. And we'll freely evaluate those to make sure that you guys are optimizing what's right for your target audience. If an online audience is best suited, fantastic. If an offline audience is best targeted, great. We'll consider that as part of the entire submission.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. So there are 4 phases. We can go through them, although I don't think I'll go into complete detail of every single one of them. But the first phase is submission phase. Obviously, you want to submit your proposals to MoneyGram. Part 2 is the review and selection phase. Will take a couple of weeks. Both SDF and MoneyGram teams will evaluate the submissions in collaboration. The review committee can take time to even reach out and ask clarifying questions, so don't be surprised if that occurs. There'll be up to 5 submissions that will move forward each quarter through June of 2024. The commercial phase is when the 5 selected wallets begin to move forward with commercial onboarding with MoneyGram. So this will include full compliance review and submissions, and it'll culminate in an executed agreement with MoneyGram. And the technical phase is when you'll do the complete technical integration with MoneyGram Access. You must complete that vendor approval and compliance process with MoneyGram in order to receive the marketing award dollars. There are a number of eligibility requirements at the bottom, including successful launch of MoneyGram Access, delivery and approval of ongoing testing. You have to have use by 100 unique users, not affiliated with the participant, and delivery and approval of a full marketing project plan.
And I will just quickly comment because a couple of these requirements are new. So if you've already integrated with MoneyGram Access, this might be the first time you're seeing them. So it's worth expanding a little bit. The ongoing testing plan is a new kind of requirement that we're rolling out for wallets under this program. Simply put, we want to make sure that wallets have a plan in place to make sure that our user experience remains consistent throughout the integration being live. And the use by 100 unique users is simply just a test to make sure that it works, rather than in any major bar that we expect wallets to run to. The other one that's new is kind of the obviously delivery and approval of the full marketing project plan. Since that's new, Mike, I'm wondering if I can put you on the spot here a little bit and have you share a little bit about what you're looking for in marketing project plans.
Sure. So we're looking for a marketing project plan that takes into consideration the wallet's understanding of their own consumers, how they use the wallet, where they use the wallet, under what circumstances they want to use the wallet, and how MoneyGram can be an important and critical part to their success. So when marketing to these audiences, you may choose to go wholly digital, or you may opt to go through live activations where you interact with consumers face to face. MoneyGram is not going to position one above the other. We also want to make sure that there's someone on board who has a firm understanding of marketing principles and how to approach your consumer with effective tools. We'll also evaluate your effectiveness. So we want to make sure that the tools that you select are going to effectively engage that audience and be a wise use of the funds that we're providing.
And then again, I'm going to break my promise to me. We did get a question in the chat that I think is worth asking here. The unique users, the question is unique users, is that users of the wallet in general or the MoneyGram Access functionality? It is the latter. It's unique users of MoneyGram Access via the wallet.
Yep, we'll be curious to understand if there's significant differences between existing users of the wallets and those who use the MoneyGram Access cash rails for on and off cash, cash on and cash off. It'd be interesting to know if there is a significant difference between those consumers and whether or not your media needs to be different to reach that audience. We have not seen significant differences between consumers as of yet. It's not that one, say, is a cryptocurrency savvy consumer and then the people who are using MoneyGram are not, or maybe they're remittance only. But we'll be curious to see what you come back with and how well you know your consumers. And then we'll be evaluating your approach to reaching them.
All right, glad to share that, guys, or share that with you guys. I know it's a little bit more detailed than maybe you wanted, but nonetheless, glad to share it. Give me just a second. I'm gonna share it just actually a little bit more because I got to answer this. He gets into a little bit more about this. Sorry about having to do this. Give me just a second. Yeah, there's just a tad bit more.
So the next slide talks about some of the considerations that MoneyGram and Stellar will take when evaluating the proposals from the wallets. Obviously, we'll want to make sure there's some high-level fit, including use case feasibility and audience benefit. Capabilities assessment will include things like understanding the team's capabilities, experiences, and understanding the existing wallet UX. Submission details are important. Don't leave anything blank or missing. There's a way, an opportunity to ask questions as you complete the form, and making sure that there's no potential compliance or regulatory risks or challenges. For the marketing project plan, we'll be assessing the team's expertise, your support network, your agency relationships, and the capabilities overall for the team leadership. On user testing, we'll want to better understand the development process, your experience, and the support required to complete.
And Mike, can I ask on the marketing project plan, if I am a wallet that is interested in this program, but I don't have an existing agency, or maybe I don't have an existing major marketing function and team, would I still be eligible here for this program?
You are, absolutely. And there are additional resources through MoneyGram that can be tapped in, including both agency and creative resources that we can tap for you to help you execute your plan and program.
Great.
So this last slide is the program timeline. Submissions for the first MoneyGram Awards are due on August 16th, 2023. There will be subsequent programs that are run quarterly. The submissions are due on the first day of each quarter. If you're interested, you want to express interest, start the application process today. Fill out a request. The information is all clickable via the slide, and it will also be sent to you. For questions, you can also email us at access@moneygram.com.
And one more question from me, Mike, before we jump into the full Q&A window. I've seen a couple of companies reach out saying, hey, we're already either halfway through our integration with MoneyGram Access, or we're already live with MoneyGram Access. Would we be eligible for a program like this?
So at this time, if we're working with you, you would be ineligible for the program. we'll continue to support you as you go through the process. You can resubmit perhaps at a later date, and we look forward to hearing from you and understanding what your new needs are beyond which we're already covering.
Okay, so bottom line is this, right? It's like you could totally see that this is like a thing that is in test net, if you will, as far as the MoneyGram access, the rewards, and so on. Think about everything that's being built here, right? Built out for the future and so on, right? Don't you want them to be testing things instead of just saying, oh, here, release this to the public and the public's going to be the guinea pigs? No, it's all professionally done. All right, I'm going to put some more banners up on here. And on top of that, let me just put that on there as well. We will now recognize a few more comments, and then we'll kick it into the next part of our coverage, which should be Jasmine at this point. I know you guys have been kind of patiently waiting. All right, so I do see you guys had some comments. Let's see here about me having a bidet. What's up with that? Don't have a bidet. Maybe someday. All right. Antoine Zim, XLM plays a vital role in Ukraine with UNHCR and future CBDC. Good test field for mass adoption by institutions. Seems like you know your stuff, man. Right on. Boom. Right at you. All right. So this is a good one. I did see it while I was playing some of that video. So here's what I have. And I'm going to jump into a little bit of it. So yes, the answer basically is yes. There is burn mechanisms. They don't go into place all the time for both XRP and XLM. Let me give you just some examples on the two. We will start things off with XRP. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, we'll start off with XRP. Actually, let's do XLM. This will help with the flow. We were talking about XLM. Let's just keep it on XLM for a second. So here it is, and this comes from Fins. Maybe you guys have seen them before, but nonetheless, I'm gonna come back into the frame. All right, and I'll blow it up for you guys to see it a little bit better. All right, so it starts off with this top part. Hold on a second. It mentioned back in November of 2019. You may not be aware about this. Stellar Development Foundation, kind of like what you just saw, right? You guys saw those guys being interviewed from the Stellar Development Foundation. They announced back then that they burned more than 55 billion stellar lumens, XLM, which was about 55%, I guess, of that supply. The tokens basically were moves away from airdrop programs, right? So hence, if you see any of these scams on your crypto Twitter about XLM, well, you will know that that's a bunch of nonsense. Even the ones about XRP. And by all means, if there's any newcomers here, you see something about XRP 2.0, come on, XRP 2.0 and it's built on Ethereum. Doesn't that sound like an oxymoron in itself? Yeah, you better believe it. So I mentions here in regards to Stellar Development Foundation, they retain 68 billion stellar lumens earmarked for giveaways in order to grow the community, citing declining utility from airdrops. The SDF burned 50 billion of those tokens, along with 5 billion of the 17 billion previously held in its operating fund. The burn reduced the total supply to 50 billion XLM, which Stellar Development Foundation's ownership of the total dropped from XLM supply of 85% to 60%. I think there's a little bit more about this. Let me see. I think I might be close to it. I think we got through all of it. So that's what happened with Stellar. They still have the function, kind of like even with Jasmine. Jasmine's never burned any tokens, right? But Jasmine has the burn function, the mechanism to do it. So will there be another one? I don't think so. And if there is another one, from everything that you've seen based off what we showed you here, it will be due to, like, for instance, marketing. So we showed you that video. Let me just stop the screen for a second. we showed you that video talking about MoneyGram access and, how if you win, I don't know, according to the program and so on, where they mentioned something like $50,000, maybe higher in regards to a marketing, from the marketing fund. All right. Well, technically speaking, if there ever was to be a burn, right, it would come from the Stellar Development Foundation in regards to, burning off some for the marketing. Now, will they ever do that here recently or within the last few years? No. Seems like the last time they did anything was 2019. But again, they have that function if they ever need to, and they can initialize it and do something again. But from my recollection, it has been about 4 years. All right. So let's jump to the next one about XRP. All right. With XRP, a little bit different. Let's pull that up for a second. All right. This is from Binance, believe it or not. On this one, it says that burn mechanisms. Hold on a second. That's not the part. All right, here we go. XRP burn mechanism serves a unique purpose to address spam transactions rather to bolster the asset's price directly, or rather than, I should say. It says to accomplish this, the network imposes a transaction fee on every XRP transaction and subsequently burns the collected fees. The XRP network is designed to diminish the quality of XRP burn as the asset's value grows. You know who talked about this briefly, probably about a month ago, believe it or not, was David Schwartz and Rich of Common Sense Crypto. Yes, Mike Cornwell. I know I always call him Rich of Common Sense Crypto. I don't know why I do that. I just do it. But yes, Rich pointed out some of those things from, that. Hey, speaking of David Schwartz, it says the XRP network is designed to diminish the quality of XRP burn as asset value grows. Ripple CTO David Schwartz confirmed this in a tweet earlier this month. Yeah, so that wasn't planned. Okay, I'll be honest, that wasn't planned. But that just reconfirms what he said. Okay. He says he doesn't think that would ever happen for two reasons. Decreasing supply tends to cause increasing value with decreasing of the rate of burn. Two, while it's not easy to change color or core rules, it is hard to imagine the community not doing so if the system was actually breaking, according to David Schwartz. And this was referenced back in April 8th of 2023. But again, Rich of Common Sense Crypto did a video about it about a month ago, referencing what was said back in April. David Schwartz said that he does not expect the total supply of 100 billion XRP to ever run out. That's interesting. When asked how long would it take to burn it all, he pointed out that the burn rate will change if the value of XRP goes up and when the supply goes down. So again, it's not just to have burns, right? Recognizing what's going on in the market to further, give reason for the burn, right? Furthermore, official documentation on the XRP Ledger website reveals that the current burn rate basically would take nearly 70,000 years. Sorry, I thought something was... Anyway, 70,000 years to obliterate all existing XRP tokens. So, are you kidding me? I mean, will the world even be around in 70,000 years? The documentation also characterizes this burn mechanism as making XRP slightly deflationary. That's to put it lightly, is it not? A deflationary asset is one whose supply diminishes over time or is basically capped. All right, a little bit more about this, and this will be it. And we'll kick it to the Jasmine. While some maintain that XRP burns could bolster the asset's price, others believe the current burn rate may be insufficient for this purpose. Well, how so? David Schwartz is literally citing some of this. For some people, that's good enough. He's a pretty smart guy. Instead, numerous advocates highlight XRP's utility as a primary factor influencing its price, movement. As Crypto Globe reported, California-based fintech firm Ripple has recently revealed that its global XRP-powered global proprietary payment solution, RippleNet, processed nearly, listen to this, 30 billion across approximately 20 million transactions since launch. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We're not going to even be talking about billions anymore. We're going to be talking about trillions. or maybe possibly quadrillions in the future. Some people don't believe that. They think we're full of malarkey. But my thing is this, and I want to state this real quick. All right. I'm a central bank. All right. I just went into, I don't know, a food court or something like that. All right. I want to get a refill on my drink. What's my refill? My refill is that on-demand liquidity. All right. I have this issue with Nostro Vostro. Can you refill me? Can you do that? Yes. I am the central bank. Ripple's mechanism, as in on-demand liquidity with XRP and so on, can consistently provide what I need over and over again, and it's going to save me a ton of money. I don't understand why people don't recognize that basic thing. When you look more into it, it further solidifies everything you saw here. And that basically is what? Back to this top part. The purpose, or the unique purpose, and I'll highlight it again. And that basically is to rather than bolster the asset's price directly, this network imposes a transaction fee on every XRP transaction, subsequently burns the collected fees. So it's not that like there's not going to be any fees, but again, if you're going to go back to the old model of doing things, right? I guess you could say the MT messaging layer, right, through Swift. I mean, what was it, guys? $10 trillion. Yeah, $10 trillion being hit with like $60 billion worth of fees. If time is money, and we know that it is, why would you embrace that old system? And as you see, they're not embracing that old system. That's why you see Bank of America going crazy for the whole idea of Ripple's XRP. And you see Wells Fargo. I even have some of that segment about Wells Fargo here in a bit. Let's talk about that for a brief moment since we're on the topic of XRP. Smash that like. Check this out for a second. All right. Because I know we said we do some Jasmine, but we were on the topic of XRP. From Finbold News, XRP to hit $500 in 7 months, Wells Fargo Treasury Manager basically predicts. This was cited today. Let's blow this up for a second. So on this one, you see, it says in a stunning turn of events, XRP has witnessed an impressive surge in recent weeks, briefly soaring above 83 cent mark. Reality, I think we even got reports that it touched 91 cents at one point. I don't know if it was for like an hour, but it definitely touched in the 90s. I saw numerous reports about that. So the digital currency's remarkable rally can be attributed to a landmark legal triumph. We know that, right? SEC victory over the SEC. It says this may be just the beginning, right? The tip of the iceberg. It says, according to Shannon Thorpe, the treasury manager of banking giant Wells Fargo. I have a Wells Fargo account. Who doesn't at this point? Notably, in an extensive Twitter post on July 30th, which was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. This is the final day of the month. Crazy. Thorpe offered her price prediction for XRP. This is not just some regular Joe Schmo, like some regular YouTuber or whatever. This is somebody actually from, right, who is the treasury manager for Wells Fargo. So this is bullish, all right? And basically in her forecast for price prediction, she was saying that XRP can hit between $100 and $500 in the following 4 to 7 months. I can't remember who shares some of this information with me on a DM. Thank you to whoever that was. I apologize. Usually I try to make sure I give you, credit where credit's due. But yeah, implying a possible upside from 14,185% to 71,328% from its current price of 71 cents per token. Here's the bottom line. All right. I'll just be blunt and honest about it. What is it going to take to convince the masses, right? It might be even a few of you guys. I'm not trying to offend anybody. That, this concept of the accumulation phase. So we knew that for the most part, after the SEC case, there was a Ripple victory. Some of us were talking about easily over $1, right? That, of course, didn't happen immediately, but it doesn't mean it still won't happen. It might be a little bit of a delay, right? After this whole pullback, in my opinion, I think Investor Place has it right on that. Altcoins, remember? It's altcoin buying season and so on. So if that's the case, Isn't XRP right at the top of the list? Of course it is. It's ranked, currently I think number 5. We touched number 4, beat out Binance. So understand this: if we have, for instance, BTC at new price levels, we have XRP at new price levels, what will be the next monumental support level for this? And basically speaking, it's like you got to reference what's going on with this. The next basic support level could very well be what she's mentioning here. And that seems insane, but this person is not some regular Joe Schmo. Like I mentioned, treasury manager of Wells Fargo. Here's another quote, and this is from Crypto Twitter. People have long asked, what will be the price of XRP when this utility comes? We're always talking about the utility run, right? That's where we focus a lot of our time and our energy. She says, in her opinion, now more than ever, she sees a divided XRP army. One side looking at only charts, taking cues from the past and trends that follow Bitcoin to draw short-term price predictions. I'll blow this up a little bit more. This is cited from 2 days ago. I think this is worth sharing. Price predictions based on quote-unquote securities. In the crypto space, this logic seems counterintuitive, and I believe I'm with her on this, on what holds back the team at Ripple that is set off to do so many years ago. Look at this other quote. Sorry, I didn't have it on that page. If you dare to challenge the status quo, you must first believe in what you own and know that anything is possible. What's the bottom line here? You know the utility that they have here. You know what they're going to do with the central banks. We know that we're going to a whole new monetary system that most of the world does not talk about. Let's be honest. Right? Says she's asked to give her price prediction with no time frame, no clear understanding of circulating supply or firm dollar amount that equates to start. She has a whole outline there. It's really good stuff. Look at this. She talks about, for instance, the SEC versus Ripple ruling. Listen to this. 1 week after the FedNow announcement, Congress just passed the proposed crypto regulation bill to the Senate, and that they're basically 9 days into testing FedNow with the banks. Now, the Hill Capital, who has written a whole white paper on XRP price, will not pretend to think or know of any of the math that they basically did. People look at that document in shock, they do, and say that there is no way at all, right? Most of this is due to their own chart analysts stating that is not in the charts to basically do just that. Now, she states, here's a small problem with the charts. If you see a set range for XRP, for example, $1 to $5, you are ultimately saying that if one company owned all the XRP, and I know you guys talk about this in the comments quite a bit because I've seen you talk about some of this stuff in the comments. You may have been talking about it long before I was even talking about it tonight. It says that if you take all the XRP, yes, all 100 billion, they would have a liquidity strength from 100 billion to 500 billion. Now, like she said, keep that number in mind. This is a very small burn rate, because we were on the topic of burns earlier. Shout out to Boomer F and Sooner. On each transaction, regardless of the amount. This LS, as in liquidity strength, does not account for any growth in the economy. Right. Hence why so many people put so much emphasis on, oh, based off the market cap, it can't do this, it can't do that. You know how many times we've seen that? Is this a perfect example of people just simply don't understand the concept of what? Supply and demand, right? This does not account for any growth in the economy, the action of messaging and settling, nor the 24/7, 365 benefits we receive using Ripple's XRP. How about this reference about Swift real quick? Always talking about Swift. They always get pulled out of the woodwork, do they not? They handle about 44.8 million messages per day. These are not just messages, not settlements, and only half of what XRP can do. Only half. Now let's say that the dollar value of Swift is 7 trillion a day, not 24/7 or 365. If Ripple thought, or I should say, if Ripple, through its 10 years of innovation and partnerships, were only able to grab, and listen to this part, especially if you're talking about Caroline and stuff like that, if we're only able to grab 30% of Swiss value, listen to this again, if this is just your first time tuning in, 30% of Swiss value, that would be a 2.1 trillion in daily value. Oh, I thought he was talking about yearly. No, I'm not. I'm talking about daily value. Do you not realize how huge that is? Do you not realize why people are so gung-ho about XRP? Why they call it the generational wealth? How much more convincing do people need? Honestly, how much more convincing do people need when it comes to Ripple's XRP? I mean, we could be here all day about this, right? If Ripple, through its 10 years of innovation and partnerships, were only able to grab, I already read that part, my bad. How about this? You say that XRP settles in 1 to 5 seconds. Most of the time it's 3-second finality, but let's just say 1 to 5 seconds. And that liquidity would be there. Settlements are quick. However, if we were to send 750 million in transactions, we already got that example. We got that from Brad Garlinghouse, did we not? Yes, I'm sure you guys remember. With an LS of, let's say, $1, that is roughly 10% of all banks of XRP, you're going to use XRP. Think about that. Only 10%. Furthermore, there is more than one client, and no one wants to break that 750 million into, for example, 750,000 to 1,000 transactions. What's the whole point of going by the old model, right? Limiting everybody. But notice Augustine, right? From the Bank of International Settlements, he is doing just that. He's putting limitations on that. Why are we putting limitations on it? It's not we, it's the bigwigs. It's the central bank of central banks. He's still the one with the control. He's still the one with the power. Once you get the power, you get, I'm going to get into that. He's having a burn rate, because we're still on topic of burn rates. Listen to this real quick. I know I'm reading this a lot verbatim. I'm also trying to explain some of this. You want a price prediction. Look at this. This is good stuff, right? It's some bonus for you. Let's account for all the banks globally, all the XRP that has been burnt, and all the XRP that you own, basically. All the XRP given to other large banks and the XRP given to the creators. Now take that XRP is basically in liquidity hubs and exchanges and present amount that represents a range. Make it simple. If you had to guess, like 50, for instance, 50 to 75 billion XRP, that at one time supporting this LS, now spread that across, say, 300 to 1,000 different banks. This person really thought this out. I would hope so. She's freaking part of the treasury for Wells Fargo. So she knows a thing. She's expected to know math, right? Liquidity providers and governments. $1, 75 billion equals 75 billion. 75 billion divided by 1,000 banks equals 75 million XRP dollars for each bank and or liquidity provider. Wow. Okay. How about this a little bit more? Assume banks will have more XRP and that small banks will use more liquidity providers. I'm not going to assume big banks will have more XRP. I know that they'll have more XRP. Isn't that the whole concept of on-demand liquidity, providing a solution for Nostra Vostra? So forget assuming any of that. But I understand from her point of view, it makes a good example. All right. Assume banks and liquidity providers will purchase from exchanges. Yes. Assume Ripple has released all of their XRP from escrow to get to 75 billion if circulating supply is less than 75 billion, price per XRP exponentially higher. And we're not even done with this. This is good stuff. Honestly, if you're just tuning in, this is great. Given LS is roughly 75 million per bank, and JP Morgan being a top tier bank moving more than 8 trillion a day. Think about how that sounds, 8 trillion a day. And that's just from JP Morgan. How are we not accounting for all the other banks? We are accounting for other banks, but how come other people from retail are not accounting all this stuff? If it's basic math and we just scratch the surface of that institutional money, why aren't we more bullish on this? Say, for example, like the whole thing with Swift and assumption that Ripple will only capture 10% of that market, equaling 800 billion. I mean, there's a lot of numbers there. Remember, only 75 billion XRP is out there. You can look that up yourself. Of that market, equaling 800 billion, remember, only 75 billion XRP is out there. She said it again. $1 is not enough to move that kind of money, but that should go without saying. Yeah. I think this part, again, if you're a newcomer, you keep hearing the concept of the World Bank, has labeled Ripple's XRP and Stellar's XLM as global stable coins. They label it as those things. Doesn't mean that means it's a $1, peg to the US dollar, a 1-1 ratio. That is not what we're talking about. If you're new, this is not me trying to make fun of you. We're all new at one point. We're all learning. So this is just cross-border transactions, not derivatives, real estate, CBDC, not limited to foreign countries, banks, and projects. So we're not even scratching the surface yet. No, we're not scratching the surface yet. Technical parallels. How about the NFTs? Watch out for, by the way, when NFTs get become utility NFTs across the board. So it says, so it's hard for you to still believe that the Hill Capital and their price prediction. This last part is good. Now, the part you all been waiting for. I think we're waiting for this, right? That all sounded good. Her price prediction. And that is anywhere from 100 to 500 near short term. And again, what helps solidify this? You're having somebody from an actual institution. You're not having somebody that's just from YouTube or from Twitter or from any other outlet. You have literally somebody that works with the Treasury, right? Wells Fargo, but still the Treasury, right? A big player. So it talks about, for instance, 100 to 500 near short term, 4 to 7 months. 4 to 7 months. And people think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because I say quant at like $100,000 in the future and some other crazy price predictions. I think, if anything, you start seeing a lot of crazy price predictions, and it ain't going to come just from a YouTuber, right? Here's a perfect example. All right, a little bit more. I know I'm getting a little bit into this. So it states this. It all boils down to LS. If XRP is 100 at a supply of only, for example, 50 billion, that makes an LS of, an LS of 5 trillion. And at $500, that gives us an LS of 25 trillion. Like, wow. And you could tell that this lady really thought this out. This gives the market room to breathe, allows for growth, and ensures no one company needs to own billions of XRP to perform day-to-day operations. But they can be part of the greater scheme of things. They could be a central bank that goes and refills their on-demand liquidity, their refill of these things, if you will, XRP, and they continuously do it over and over and over again to meet that demand. That's utility in motion. That's institutional utility in motion. Says, basically speaking, yes, nobody needs to own billions of XRP to perform day-to-day operations. Now, how will this happen? How and when, for me, are tied together. It has always been what the creators have stated, quote, a flip of the switch. Keep in mind, these are people that maybe didn't want to come out and say, hey, I'm a big proponent of XRP because their position with these banks and so on. Maybe they can't publicly come out and say it. Notice that there's a shift in the narrative now. If you can't beat them, join them. Or how about this? You can't say anything yet because of who you work for, but you're going to patiently wait it out. Here's an example of somebody who patiently waited out. We got that SEC loss, right? Ripple won victory, right? I say this because, like she says, she believes that there has been an evaluation for XRP like gold. How many times do you see this reference? I will give a shout out to Crypto Hulk. He won't give me a shout out, but that's okay. I will give him a shout out. He's been talking about that for a while. Rich, a Common Sense Crypto, has been talking about it a while. A lot of YouTubers and crypto content creators from crypto Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, you name it, have been talking about this for a while in regards to gold. This is how they will price you out. How many times did Rich say that? I watch his videos. He always talks about we're going to get priced out of quant. We're going to get priced out of XRP. This is what I believe, according to Rosie Rios, what she meant with what she stated. And, quote, the train has left the station, and this is how the governments control the next world of finance. I hope this ages well. Don't you like what you see? Don't you like the idea that this person, for crying out loud, let's double check it again, Shannon Thorpe, she works in treasury management for Wells Fargo. She's also a licensed realtor in the state of Florida. 16,500 subscribers. Sounds like she knows a thing or two. Sounds like she is part of the thing of doing your own research. All right. That was not exactly fully planned to do that type of coverage tonight for XRP, but you guys, it's on your mind, and I'm glad it's on your mind. That's the key thing. Let's go further down into the comments. We'll get finally into the Jasmine coverage here in a little bit. I saw a super chat came in. I do appreciate you guys for that. Let me jump into it. All right. Maybe it was a while back. I don't know. I don't think so. Let me see. Let me go further down into the comments. It was just an old super chat. I'm sorry. We got the one and only Le Grand Commission. Oui. Thank you for being here. You get a wrench after you've been here. Like we see that you're regular. I don't know if we necessarily just give it out the first time, but yeah, by all means, just continuously be a regular. Maybe after about a couple weeks, we see that, we'll hook you up with that. Thank you for being here. Crypto Snob, stock and crypto market analysis. But yes, welcome to Legrand. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Had to help the nurse out with something with my dad. All right, so let's see here. A lot of fear on XRP this time to seriously look at it. Says Newman. The fact that a Wells Fargo treasury manager is even bullish on digital currency is bullish in itself. Yes, that's why I was pointing that out. Despite her immense knowledge on price predictions and math. That's a great way to look. That's just honestly, that's the way I look at it as well. Thank you for that. Yeah, I do believe it's just the beginning. You know, some people say we're still early. This is a perfect example of that. All right. Orb, he says, I just sold all my hex for XRP. Thanks for the financial advice. Oh, jeez. You had 1,200 XRP. I crave more like Jasmine. That's cool. You know, we have pointed out numerous times, Crypto Snob, What a name, by the way. I feel like I'm insulting you by calling it up, but that's your name. But yeah, we said numerous times, and I think this is absolutely true. I'll keep saying it. There's a lot of XRP investors who also are invested in Jasmy because they look at that attractive risk to reward ratio. They feel as though that the return on investment is might not be as much as, for instance, XRP, but they definitely rate it way up there, right? It's part of their portfolio. I think if anything, if you took, I wish somebody would do this. I don't know if somebody really did do this, but like, you know how we have stats? It'd be nice. It'd be interesting stat to see, like for instance, people who hold or have been holding XRP for many years, or even XLM. Like, let's say you hold both, and how many people like have, for instance, Jasmy also part of their top 10 portfolio, or just part of their portfolio. Oh yeah, I already read that. All right, let's go further down. I just don't see XRP hitting 506 to 7 months, man. Yeah, but you want to know something? Even if you don't see it, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think it's bullish news in itself. It's pretty big because, right now as we speak, I mean, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's basically tomorrow, right? So it's, August 1st, 6 months, basically speaking. I mean, we would be well into the new 6 to 7 months, be well into that new year, 2024. Makes you wonder what's going to happen. All right. Let's see here. The banker that needs to stay off the LSD. That's all right. You totally could get away with that because you've been in XRP forever and you probably hold more than anybody I know. Anyway. All right. Let's see here. SEC Ripple lawsuit was staged. Can't change my mind. All part of the plan. Could very well be. All right. Jasmy. Everybody wants some Jasmy. Let's get into some of the Jasmy in a bit. I want to read this real quick from YouTube. GG says, if XRP prices run up, let's say 500, then you need to buy $5,000 worth to minimum have XRP wallet. It requires minimum of 10 XRP. Yeah. 72 likes. You guys did pretty good on likes tonight. Thanks so much. All right, let's go further down. If you haven't hit the like yet, please do so. Maybe we tick back in the 40s. Boomer says that he loves what she's saying, just not happening. 10 to 15 bucks is more like it, and I'll be happy with that. You're saying in that time period? See that crew, I have earned the right to get a wrench and a star. Oh, yeah, of course. Let me just jump to the other screen real quick. You more than earned that. Here you go. As far as a star, that is something that's either gifted to you or you just buy one. I can't hook you up with a star. It doesn't work that way. I can't just hand out stars. There's no function to do that. But I can at least make you a moderator. Okay? There you go. There you go. Boom. All right. Congratulations. Darius, thank you so much. Wayne Size in the house. Any Crow family in the house? Well, me. Bro, I already knew that. Shaw. Welcome to Wayneside. Maor, Max, leave up a pic of Caroline on her new scooter next time you leave. Well, I'm thinking something spontaneous, man. I'm not thinking, oh, well, hold on, lady in the background. I have to find a picture of Caroline on a scooter or a pogo stick. No. But I hear what you're saying. That's okay. Boom. All right. Bro, I'm eating right now. Gross. That's horrible. That's so bad. All right. So let's go ahead and highlight this real quick from Dwight. Glad to see that you guys are still here. You're sticking around. Appreciate you for being patient through everything tonight. Let's kick it into, obviously, that Jasmy coverage that you've been so patiently waiting for. So let's get into it. And, of course, this comes straight from Harasan. All right. And let's jump into this. So here is the headlines, right? I did do the special thing, but that's okay. A lot of you guys know about this anyway. So here's what it basically mentions. This comes straight from Hara. It says, welcome Binance Japan. Jasmy aims to further development together with Binance Japan And, he took a screenshot of this, and you do see Jasmy's highlighted, but I'll take you to the actual other page that shows a little bit more about this. And this is literally interpreted from Japanese to English about crypto assets and services provided by Binance Japan. Has all these different assets, BTC, Ethereum Classic, ADA, so on and so forth. But you do see right next to Doge and Chainlink, Jasmy right here, boom, listed. Also SHIB and so on. And that's very, very cool, right? Like it says, deposits and withdrawals of legal currency, Japanese yen, deposit withdrawals of crypto assets, spot trading, all this stuff that they're going to have on Binance Japan. So very, very bullish in itself to see this, right? Now, tomorrow is August 1st, and we will get word about, for instance, a trading spot market, all that stuff, trading mechanism and so on. Should we see price action then? I'm just going to call it. I think we might. But we got to keep in mind, just because this is on Binance Japan doesn't necessarily mean it'll be enough to like thread that needle, like where prices just go crazy. How so? Well, I'll show you how so. For one, here's a perfect example. We're on CMC. We do see that, for instance, Jasmy, based off of the recent news, is only up about 1.27%. That's not enough to necessarily, like I said, thread the needle. All right. Bottom line is this. Bottom line is, when you look at the whole, grander picture of things, and we'll show you this on CMC, the overall crypto market, even during the time of doing the show, has had a pullback. We lost support of 29K BTC literally during the time of the show. We're at 28.9. Ethereum lost support of 2,000 a while ago, not tonight, but quite a bit a while ago. Those are things that are definitely worth pointing out. As a result, you will see, for instance, Jasmy does run in correlation with those, even though it's slightly up. So, maybe the slightly up is from Binance Japan, but it is a big catalyst, as the saying goes, to be listed on there. If anything, it enables quite a few people in Japan to have access to buy this particular digital asset. So it's a big win. Now, in regards to us, if you haven't hit your goals for Jasmy, for instance, well, maybe recognize, these particular prices. Say to yourself, well, we could get that much more of a pullback with the alts, and maybe just kind of play it cool, right? Until things go in that other direction. Because again, guys, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we get a true Fed pause. Well, that 35K of BTC is a crucial level. So pay attention to what happens. If you see that momentum getting back up, you especially see the overall crypto market, this right here, we get back up to like 1.23, but BTC is now, like for instance, at like, 32K of BTC and some of these other ones. Well, doesn't necessarily give you what's definitive on what you need, but gives you an idea of where we're going. And that's why, for me, I'm not going to let my emotions, even though I want to cover CASPA, and I know you guys want me to do that, and I appreciate that. I want to make a good position into it, and I want to do it the right way of not just giving in and be like, oh, I'm going to buy it right now, because you know what? For a lot of this stuff, it may very well pull back even that much more significantly. All right. I want to just end it right there on only that part of the Jasmy coverage. I want to bring this to your attention. Smash that like for some Jasmy. So on this one, with everything that was reported from Hara about Binance Japan and some of you guys from the community, right? You've been doing a lot of retweeting. He states, Jasmy developed a new password-less authentication solution. Now, for some people who don't understand the grander scheme of things, you may think that's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing, okay? And I'll get into why I feel as though it's a very, very good thing. To all members of the press develops authentication solution that eliminates the need for ID and password entry. Think about password entry. July 31st, 2023, Jasmy Incorporated, Jasmy Inc., like it says, references Kazumasu Sato, president hereinafter. Jasmy, a provider of platforms and solutions for the IoT, announces that it has developed an authentication solution that eliminates the need to enter IDs and passwords. Again, we'll get into why that is so big. It says this solution is based on the, quote, technology for security using a second key patent, which was acquired March 1st, 2012, and is used in the authentication function of Jasmy's distributed ID, Jasmy Personal Data Logger, to provide strong security to passwordless authentication. This will provide strong security through passwordless authentication. In addition, through joint development with partner companies, this authentication solution will be incorporated into smartphones, for instance. How cool is that? Applications, wearable devices. Again, all part of the Internet of Things. We talked about, where's the smart wallet going to come from? Are you going to have it on your phone? Yeah, obviously. It seems like it's going to be a thing. What about that watch they were talking about? Right. So not only you're going to have authentication through the internet, but also for a variety of Internet of Things devices. In addition, biometric authentication will provide stronger security. Before we jump further down into some of this stuff, I want to point this out, and that is this right here. Remember I did that video a while back? If you were new to our channel, let me show you again what I'm talking about. I did this video over 2 months ago. It says 2 months ago, but in reality, it's probably more like close to 3 months ago. Jasmy Bombshell, Kazumasa Sato. The what? The Sony patents. Why did we pay attention to that a while ago? Why did I share that with some of you guys? Because it's a big deal. Now you're seeing, even right now, today, why those old patents from 2012 matter so much right now. So we're going to jump back, obviously, to what we have. And what I want to show you guys, this is a little bit more about this. So he goes on into more detail, right? And basically it's about the background and the development of this. But one of the key things, again, like I mentioned, Kazumasa Sato. Talking about a visionary. These guys, they're part of this team, really envisioned a lot of things way, way farther ahead than anybody else did. I mean, come on, all the way back to 2012? It's 11 years later where we're at right now. In today's internet world, the management of IDs and passwords is reaching its limits due to the diversification of digital services. In addition, digital services managed independently by individual companies and organizations store personal information in all kinds of places. True. Increase the risk of leverage not only in IDs and passwords, but also personal data. Therefore, we had developed a secure authentication solution not only online, but also for IoT devices, utilizing our technology related to security using a second key. Remember we talked about security using a second key? We did a whole deep dive about that. And I love how they reference the patents consistently, for you can look it up yourself. New technology details. Were you aware of this? Specify a smartphone application or device. It says, for instance, to use this authentication solution, register the AD information and ID password information used for various services on our blockchain platform, including PDL. Pretty big stuff. And I'll get into also the whole thing about Hyperledger Fabric, also IBM, right? Talk about that here in a brief bit. But it states ID and password information is registered with the blockchain platform, including PDL, provided by the company. In doing so, it will be possible to automatically generate secure passwords. In addition, a patent key generation method will be used between and the authentication, PF to achieve secure exchange of public key methods. And we talk about Society 5.0. We talk about it a lot, right? Look at this. When biometric information is used, biometric information can be registered, but the biometric information is recorded within and is not registered in the authentication. Again, they're all preparing for this whole thing of Society 5.0. Just because we don't think it's ever going to happen, keep in mind, for them, that is more than achievable. Different type of world that they live in over there in the Far East. So as we're going to get more into this, it's going to reference a few key things. It's going to talk about, for instance, your fingerprint. Your fingerprint is not as secure as your vein from your fingerprint. Now, you may think that's absolutely insane, but it's absolutely true. You only have medium security based off of your fingerprint, maximum security based off of the vein. And I'll show you that reference here in a bit. Talks about also this whole thing about their software development kit, web API, It goes on and on about this. Now, before we jump more into some of this stuff and a new key partner that you're not aware of, which is basically Mofiria, I want to talk about this whole concept real quick about what Jasmine has, for instance, with some of my key findings on the research. Okay. So as we know, and let's jump back into this from Justia Patents, Kazumasa Sato, he had filed for the patents to protect the following inventions. And look at what it says. Again, just in case you didn't see that video, the listing includes patent applications that are pending, as well as patents that have already been granted in the United States. But, you know, when I do a control F, and you do Sato, or Kazu, let's do Sato. How many times you see this literally listed here? Inventors, Kazumasa Sato, 2018. Look at this one. Inventors, Kazumasa Sato, 2019. Sato, 2018. Structure body of for use in measuring a device. The contract structure includes a separator that physically separates a sample holder from measuring circuit. Again, all part of this biometric data. Why would they go through all this trouble many years ago for an unfulfilled, I hate to use this term, but prophecy of society for 5.0 if they really didn't see that vision? Right? It'd be ridiculous. Look how many times. Look, Sato, 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 over and over and over and over again. For the naysayers, for the people who say that Jasmine is a big scam, you sure as the hell fool me. You know. Again, part of doing your own research is to see if somebody or a team of people would go through all the trouble of doing so. Look at what else it says. Applicants, Sony Corporation. Inventors, Kazumasa Sato. Kazumasa Sato was a former Sony executive. Oh, I don't believe that Jasmine's tied into Sony. Are you kidding me? Give me a break. All right. Let me show you guys just a tad bit more what we have. So this was something that was referenced, and this is brand spanking new. All right. And you were probably not even aware of this. So, because, you know, let's face it, some of the news headlines is basically Binance Japan. Jasmine develops an authentication solution that eliminates the need to enter IDs and passwords. Now, this is the educational side I want to get into, why we should pay attention to this. And if you're been waiting for this news for a while, or you just want to get on the chopped up later, that's fine too. But I want to state this. Think about it, guys. Is it that really hard to think about? If we're all about society 5.0 over in Japan and other areas of the world where this is going to make sense with smart cities, well, if Ripple's XRP is all about providing that on-demand liquidity and having fast payment solutions and that time is money, well, you got to keep in mind that with this new society, it's more than just time is money. You got to make sure that society is able to flow perfectly well. Right? So you can't have a perfect situation where, and let's face it, we get this here at our ballparks, you know, going to a baseball game, right? And rightfully so, right? Like we don't want, you got to check people for security and so on, but getting onto like a bullet train or just a regular bus or subway or you name it, right? Can you imagine every single time waiting in line, right, to pay for some of these things? If we're trying to get away from the concept of paying with cash and getting a physical receipt or paying with a regular debit card and things like that, right? Because it just takes a little bit too long. You can't have a breakdown. We talk about breakdowns in supply chains, right? You can't have a breakdown even when it comes to public transportation. I need to be able to have my phone, and I need that phone to access my personal data locker instantly, right? So by having Jasmine developing a authentication solution that eliminates the need to enter IDs and passwords, who wants to sit there? All right, let me see here. I forgot my password. All right, Bill Hutchins, or at billhutchins329@gmail.com. Oh, I forgot my password. I'm gonna hit my password right here. All right, wait, and the whole line backs up. Now, of course, this I'm talking about here in the United States. You can imagine Japan? No. It needs to be boom, boom, bang, bang, you know, all done, right? That's why you develop an authentication solution that enters, again, that future vision, right? They're already working on this stuff even years ago with that vision. Check this out. Representative Director Kazuma Sasato, hereinafter referred to as Jasmine, which provides platforms and solutions for IoT, is an authentication that does not require the entry of IDs and passwords that rely on personal memories and unique terminals. We are pleased to inform you that we have developed a solution. Really? So Jasmine now has another utility layer as if it didn't have enough. This solution is based on the authentication function of the distributed ID Jasmine Personal Data Locker, hereinafter referred to as the PDL, provided by our company. We will be introducing it to achieve strong security through passwordless authentication. So we obviously have known about the concept of a personal data locker for a while, but what about the concept of being able to not have to put in a password, username or password, right? In addition, by incorporating this authentication solution into a smartphone, applications, wearable devices, right, IoT, through joint development with partner companies, it can be used to not only authenticate on the internet, but also for various IoT, Internet of Things devices. Furthermore, by introducing biometric authentication, we will provide stronger security. Check this out. They got things about the development background, right, and some of the secondary key security technology. Patent to reference that if you choose to do so. New technology details. I'll get down into some of the juicy parts. So look at this. Register the ID and password information to be used for. At the time, it will be possible to automatically generate and secure a password. In addition, between the AD and the authentication PF, a patented key generation method is used to realize secure exchanges of the public key method. When using biometric information can be registered, but the biometric information is recorded and is not registered in the authentication PF. They give you some examples. Of course, it's in Japanese, but it talks about, for instance, what you see on the far right, the actual blockchain shows like an actual key. They talk about the second key, literally see it in the visuals, how it's talked in between with the phone and so on, with your personal data locker and through the phone. That's in your phone, I should say. It has a whole breakdown, a lot of this stuff, right? So I'm not going to get into all this, but how about this for a second? Login and authentication for business terminals and companies. Hence why I mentioned like the public transportation sector. Use as car keys for car sharing and hotel room keys. Yeah, that's another good example. You already see some of that stuff, technically speaking, if you ever stayed at a nice hotel, right? They don't even use like an actual real keys. Just swipe that little card, beep, go in, right? Partner companies. All right, so we will talk about this partner companies, a new partner company. It's called Mofiria. They are a leading company in vein authentication. Vein, not fingerprint, vein. Now that sounds crazy. They announced a film-type vein authentication module. In the future, we aim to personalize vein authentication for smartphones, smartwatches, and wearable devices. Now, you may be thinking, I don't even see how that's so, but we're going to jump into that. And if anything, check this out. Here it is, straight from Mofiria. I'm going to double check you guys can see this. So on here, it says, what is vein authentication? This is good stuff. Finger vein authentication is a type of biometric authentication, and it is a technology that verifies the identity by reading the veins of a finger. Mofiria provides authentication devices and software development kits that combine accuracy, speed, efficiency, and compactness and lightness at a high level to provide vein authentication. Solutions that pursue convenience for both end users and development partners. All right. So what I want to show you guys that's actually right here is why, to a sense, why this makes such a big difference for Jasmine. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit more if you can see it. So I'm going to share this tab instead. And check this out. This is some of the, some of the bigger stuff that you might not even been aware of. So as we get into this one, check this out. Biometric authentication states basically that, it refers to the identification of humans by their physical traits. Fingerprint authentication and face recognition are commonly used. I mean, think about it. Some people see this happening in China. Sorry about the background noise. For instance, scans your face. People talk about this concept of the 15-minute cities. I'm not for 15-minute cities, but understanding that these are some of the things that are going to be incorporated into Society 5.0, even in Japan. The finger vein authentication technology has received much attention as a new method for biometric authentication because the authentication accuracy is extremely high. Let's jump into why it's high. Here's this chart. Look at the biometrics on this. Finger vein, right? We always talk about fingerprints. What about finger vein? Well, look at the accuracy on it. High accuracy, data size is medium. The only bad part about this is the cost is high. Okay. Maybe later on I'll do a proper deep dive, find out exactly how high that is. Security level is high. Long-term stability is high. So you totally see that this is going to be probably the way they're going to go with everything in regards to Society 5.0. And we might even see some of this here in the United States at some point with other types of things. I'm not saying for smart cities, but you may see that because you definitely have seen fingerprints, right? And some people were like, big fan. I'm not a big fan of the fingerprint thing. You know, it's a lot of times like I tried it in the past and used it, and like I had to keep hitting my thumb on it over and over again. And it's just not the way to go. Speaking of which, the fingerprint says it's medium on its accuracy. Data size small. The cost is low. Security level is low. Long-term stability is low. So finger vein is totally the way to go. But the key thing here is seeing all of the basic things here. Give me just a second, guys. All right, I'm back with you guys. Sorry about that. Some of the other things you see here, for instance, you know, this is all contributing to Society 5.0, right? The voice, the hand geometry, all this stuff, scanning the iris, right? It's all going to contribute to this. So this is obviously a big new partner. I'm going to take you to this next part real quick about their tech, especially since this is a, you know, it got posted today. I mean, come on. Talks about this compact and light. Malferia adopts a unique reflective dispersion method. Near infrared lights emitted from LED is reflected inside the finger, and the vein pattern image is captured by a CMOS sensor. Their device can also be designed for plane arrangement that enables smaller size and flexibility in design implementation when embedded to other devices. But check this out. All right, they even give you like a little illustration of what they're planning to do. You know, I don't know if the details is basically that they see your veins and, you know, maybe kind of like a fingerprint. We all have our unique fingerprint, right? But maybe we all have our own unique veins. You know what I mean? Like that's just positioned differently. I don't have that answer. I haven't taken a proper deep dive into that. Maybe some of you guys have that answer. But it goes into some of these other details of what is big. I just think, I don't know. It seems like it's a big deal. It's part of this whole concept of Society 5.0. Yeah, a little bit of what I was talking about, right? So, I mean, you know, again, our fingerprint is unique to us. There's no single person, supposedly. I think this is accurate, right? That doesn't have, you know, nobody has the same fingerprint, but maybe also nobody has the same veins. And I guess that's worth pointing out. How about the usability? And then we'll get into the next part of this. In the authentication process, if the finger is not put into the device the same as during enrollment, the authentication may fail. Malferia has developed matching algorithms that automatically adjust the finger's position data of matching vein pattern and succeeded in achieving a high level of usability. I don't know. I mean, some of this, it seems like, man, it wouldn't be a lot harder to scan a vein than would it be to scan a fingerprint. I don't know. But, you know, my hope is that they get this technology down long before, obviously, full implementation of Society 5.0. That's one of the key things. All right. Before I kick it into a little bit more of what we have, I want to show you guys some of my key findings in regards to this. Okay. And I want to pull this up. This is straight from IBM. So, you know, remember how Quant, for instance, talks about, you know, it's got to be immutable. You know, how many times have you heard that, right? It says the innate properties of blockchain are hard to emulate by any other type of technology currently out there, which is why it is oftentimes revered as a revolutionary technology. When its properties of decentralization Immutability, transparency, and security are combined. A notion of trustlessness is created. Right. Not having to put a username and password every single time. This is a perfect example. That trust typically is expected of vendors. To sell their services is no longer required thanks to blockchain. It says immutability is another important blockchain property. It refers to how data, because we're talking about Jasmy all the time with personal data lockers, it refers to how data remains unchangeable once it's been recorded and processed on the blockchain. So think about this concept of what they're trying to do with Jasmy, with the PDL. You need to have a mechanism in which data, like it says, is unchangeable once it's been recorded. You have a patent from Kazumasa Sato who's going to help get this done. Yeah. What's being referenced here? IBM. Why is Max sharing it? Because, like it shows on this blog, that they have a way in which, basically speaking, you can have your data unchangeable once it's been recorded and processed on the blockchain, meaning it's also protected from any modifications or attacks. That's big. Now it says why? Because the process to alter data on one block will require a lot of computational power. Each block also stores a hash of the preceding block, creating a chain going back all the way to the first block created. Therefore, records are permanent and impossible to modify. That sounds pretty darn cool. Now, why is Max citing IBM? Well, for these reasons. I'm going to pull this up for a second. Basically speaking, it's this right here. Were you aware that, for instance, there's a relation of IBM blockchain and how it shares its platform with Hyperledger Fabric? Oh, I see where Max is going with this. Yeah, I have given examples of this in the past, referencing that, Jasmy uses Hyperledger Fabric, but we had to give you a little bit of a breakdown tonight on how this all is going to work in regards to this new patent that Jasmy, through Kazumasa Sato, has brought to the table. Check this out. Maybe you guys are bored with this. I don't know. Maybe you only care about price action. You don't care about any of this stuff. I don't know. But whatever the case be, I'm sure there's somebody that appreciates this. It says the properties that IBM blockchain platform shares with the Hyperledger Fabric are as follows. And check it out on the illustration. They both share identity management. Jasmy's all about identity management, are they not? Especially when it comes to data, processing power, privacy, personal data lockers. Heck, you can even call them privacy data lockers at this point, right? Chain code functionality, modular design, and Hyperledger Fabric does help bring some of that modular capabilities. Let me show you guys this, because we're always talking about privacy when it comes to Jasmy. IBM blockchain platform is a private blockchain that enables the network nodes that to be verified before being added to the network. However, competitor organizations can still see another company's data with the same blockchain network. To tackle this issue, IBM's blockchain platform uses channels to allow companies to perform transactions with other companies privately within the same blockchain network. So it's not like just freely giving away data, but protecting that privacy and that data. Remember how I just talked about modular design? Talk about this for a second. This property allows the organization to personalize the blockchain network, allows them to choose the components and their strengths. It ranges from choosing the consensus algorithm to giving different levels of access. Different levels of access to the nodes using the certificate authority. I think this is pretty big of a deal because you know what? It gives you an idea that, yeah, just like when we go to like a ball game or a concert, there's different levels of authority that you have to go through. So much red tape. But imagine having something on blockchain that takes that all out of the whole mix, where you don't feel that, but the access, right? The protection of these barriers are there, but you don't feel it yourself as you pass through a bullet train or go to a Seigen Tosu, I don't know, fan event or soccer game or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's cool stuff. Now, what I also want to show you guys before I kick it back to what we have is this last part. And this states right from IBM again. It states cybersecurity sector as a use case. It says a major issue faced by users in the cybersecurity community is their inability to fully know which security vendors they can or cannot trust. Think about this even with Jasmine. You think that they're going to have some kind of thing that, we're going to go through these certain channels or these certain channels, and some channels are not going to be protected? That'd be ridiculous. Security vendors can make all the claims that they want regarding the performance, effectiveness, detection capabilities, and other promise about their security solutions. But at the end of the day, customers simply have to take their word for it. But that's where blockchain can help. And like it mentions, with blockchain tech, customers using cybersecurity services can verify that the web attacks being detected and blocked are in fact legitimate. So I think there's a big reason why you see consistency when it comes to Jasmine, Casper, and some of these other networks and so on using that Hyperledger fabric, right? IBM is that connector, if you will, for privacy, but also for security, that trust layer, if you will. All right. I'm going to kick it back into the comments. And if anything, I think that might almost wrap up the show. We're at the 2-hour 30 mark. Thank you for being a little bit more patient with me tonight, because I had a nurse that had to reschedule with my dad. And I kind of, she definitely needed to see him. So anyway, all right, let's go further down. Let's see what you guys got. My orb says at 8:06 p.m., which was not that long ago. Bank account also considers XRP and XLM stablecoins. That's good. How about XLM going below 15 cents? Time to load up more. Or people will buy percentages of XRP, XLM, and Quant like Bitcoin by 2025. Yeah, that's a good point. And if anything, we're loading up on the whole thing, right? Not buying slivers on. I would agree with you on that. And even bone. What about an eyeball scan? Yeah, that was what I was talking about earlier, right? With the iris. Glad you caught that. All right. WorldCoin has ties with Ripple from years ago. Huh. Didn't know that one. That's new. I'm happy people flooding Jasmine, according to Antoine Zim. My target is 500,000, so keep it low. All right. Learn and evolve. Take it easy. I think you already left. Have a good one. You guys got the facts. All right, let's read just a couple more. Boomer F. says that's only 57 billion market cap with Shiba Inu upcoming bull run. PCC having 250 may be way too low. All right. Orb, aka Orb, Brian Dowie. He's consolidated everything into XRP and XLM. If he's wrong, so be it. I'm happy with my bags, but adding more every 2 weeks. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's what you believe in. Go with your gut. At the end of the day, that's, how many times have we not gone with our gut and probably wrecked ourselves, right? Boomer F is sooner. Those are two great ones, Brian. I consolidated mine down to XLM, XRP, Jasmine, Quant, and Bone. Oh, you're no longer an H bar? I thought you were still an H bar. Maybe you still hold a little bit. I don't know. All right. Blackwood. That's my first Vaseline comment. Oh, jeez. All right, let's go further down. We may see a 500 bone in 2025, 1,000 bone in 2027. Oh, my God. Wow, that'd be incredible. All right, let's see here. 1,000 bone is 230 billion market cap. It's reachable. Okay. All right. You guys are having a conversation back and forth. Brian Dowie says he got rid of his Quant. Jasmine is H bar, is Algo. Still thin, they're great. Still thinking they're great, but I think XRP and XO are gonna run the whole financial system. Okay. What else you guys got up in here? Let's see. You're talking about Blackwooded, Vaseline, and Caroline. Oh my God. All right. That's really something else. All right. Well, you guys don't have much comments left, so I'll just read the rest. Boomer reference sooner. Hell, we may see 250 bone in August. We're close to it. This coming August, $250 a bone? Huh. Shiba can get to a 50 billion market cap. Bone can do it with ease. All right. Let's see here. Blackwood, you're getting the hang of it. All right. Damn it, now I'm picturing an open jar of or Vaseline. Oh, God. That's horrible. Sold everything 15 minutes after the lawsuit ended. I can get back in. Huh. The pogo handles must smell, like, like Method Man. What's this? Smells like fish. Who I am, who I'm with. G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Remember the song Judgment Day? Anyway, maybe you don't. All right, guys. It's been a good show. Please smash that like on your way out. And if anything, make sure you check out our recorded video section, which is right here. Here's some of the latest videos. I'm sure some of you guys saw them. So we got Quant, 1,700 views on that one. We're worldwide. What's it say? Operating system supercharging Wall Street. On top of that, buy the rumor. And I put this in the thumbnail. ISO 222 goes live March 20th. XTC was up 40%. Electronic Trade Documents Bill written to law July 20th. XTC up 85%. Electronic Trade Documents Act into effect September 20th. Where do we go with our XTC? Right? And how about this? It's not even listed there. November 2025, full implementation of ISO 222. What would XTC be worth then? So do you buy the rumor? Maybe you do. Not financial advice. All right, and this other one, scalability solved. Jasmine and Q&T scalability solved. Why it matters, but nonetheless, I'll try to put out some of the other videos we're going to have. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. I'll read the last bit of comments and we'll wrap it up. Blackwood, she says, is upside down. You guys are laughing. That's good stuff. Have a good one, Dwight. Peace out to you too. You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that you guys appreciate it. All right, energizing energy. Blackwood, definitely buy a bidet. Caroline loves doing backflips of it. Thank me later. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. We'll see you at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow for more CTN Crypto Talk Now. Have a great night.